Hello, hello. Welcome back, maybe. Or
Yeah.
welcome to your first time.
Yeah.
Great episode, I know, with
Oh, I'm excited, man.
Ahzia.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming over here. Making the long, strenuous journey from fucking
Yeah, that was a ride.
Iowa.
It's always weird because, like, most of the time I'm on the side, I'm going to East Side Studios or the venues. So I was like, oh, man, like, I really needed the GPS. I was like, I don't know where the fuck this guy
No,
is
I'm
at.
horrible. I'm horrible with direction. There's so many things I, like, do and try and remember in my brain. Like, I don't even try to remember directions.
No.
Honestly, I could give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, it's
unless I've been there multiple times, then maybe I'll start to remember.
Oh yeah. I'm really spatial. Like if we start talking, and I actually got into it with a friend. Like she's like, "How do you not know how to get around your own city?"
I've had people tell me that, and it's like, dude,
I don't know. Like, I mean, first of all, I don't go out like that anyway. Like I'm usually one or three places, one of them being work and my crib. So it's like, damn, like. I'm more of like a location. Like if you like, hey, like it's over by Elmore, Walmart. I'm like, I got you. And then I can start mapping it out.
Exactly, yeah.
So like once I've been around a few places, now I can drive to this East Side Studios with no GPS. But those first 10 times, oh yeah. I mean, especially because I was usually going there at night.
Yeah,
you know, like, 'cause
yeah.
that's most of the time. We're like, hey, come slide to the studio. Now I can get there. But yeah, I mean, shit. GPS technology.
Yeah, it is not a strong suit of mine. Directions.
No,
like,
no.
If I ever moved to like a different city, I would make a point to try and learn it well.
Yeah,
you know? It's like here, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, like this is my home base, but like that was part of LA where, man, there was no confidence. I stepped out the door and I'm like, I don't know this city at all.
Yeah.
Like one wrong turn, you could be in a whole different part of town, and it's just, man, it's a lot. There's a lot of people. So you definitely you learn to not be so antisocial in a city like that. You gotta make conversation, start asking questions, or you get swallowed alive. But you know what I hate more than anything is when you get those people who like want to be your like assist GPS driver, and then they like fucking wait till the last second to tell you when to turn. They be like, oh yeah, it was back there. And you be like damn, like
just pull over.
Give me a little heads up, like
God.
Let's not crash.
Yeah, we were just talking before we got on air here that you were in LA for a short stint. When did you leave?
Dude, I left January 4th. Yep.
How long were you there?
I was there till the end of January, like early February.
That's all the rent we could afford. It's
man,
ridiculous.
No, and that's the funny thing. It wasn't even that like that's all I could afford. It was that I calculated enough. I did some thorough fund breakdowns, and I was like, this is what my bank account would look like in 3 months if I don't get a job.
Yeah.
And if this all blows up in my face, I will go home with nothing. And that's not a fun place to be, because then you feel useless.
Then you got to come back to your hometown
broke.
And like starting over.
Exactly.
Let alone going out there trying to start.
I was in a fortunate position where I left with enough money I could get my shit back in order. Like I got my apartment, I got a new car, and I know that I would not have successfully been able to do so had I have tapped myself dry, come back with fucking $20 in my bank account, and I really would have been depressed. And then you guys were like having record fucking winter temperatures.
Yeah.
Nuts. And I'm over in the beach, like I'm in Santa Monica, and I'm like, holy shit, what's going on?
That's nice for you to get out.
Yeah, man. Like I got out right in time because like winter was kind of like she didn't really come full heavy-handed until like mid-January.
It's been like that a lot lately. Like
yeah,
we'll get like kind of cold. We'll get some shit in like November. Because we did get like the most snow for like the month of November.
Yeah.
We did have that big storm.
No, it was like
or something.
record temps, record snows this last winter.
But then there's been plenty of past years that I can recall where we get like warm spells in like December.
Yeah. I mean, we've had like snowless Christmas.
Yeah.
Snowless, like no snow outside, no sledding, no nothing, no building the snowman. It's like fuck.
Even as far back in high school, I remember I was like, it was like middle of December, like right before Christmas. I'm like skateboarding in t-shirt and shit. You know, it's not even cold, let alone snow.
It's a weird deal, man.
Fucking climate change is what it is.
Talk about it.
I also think we're in like a climate shift.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of late rains, right?
Yeah.
Even right now, it's
even
like fucking rain.
Dude, it's been raining all summer.
I think
every
it
other
used to
day.
be like fucking, April showers bring May flowers. Things like May
Oh, it's
showers,
July.
fucking July showers,
Dude,
June showers. God,
you can't.
the record flood.
All you have to do is pay attention. If you just observe what's going on right now, you can tell something's not like.
And all these people are like, it's not real.
No, man.
Well, something's real. Like what?
Hell, even in LA, when I got out there, it rained for the majority of my time there, and like everyone's like, native LAs are like, dude, it doesn't rain this much here. Like, I'm sorry, you just caught us at a bad time, because we're thinking sunshine, and no, it was raining a lot.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay. But
it's not that bad considering, like some years ago they're in like the worst drought they've ever had.
Exactly. So like,
it's like
in that regard, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of good for you guys. Like, you guys could use some of this rain. Drought, like with all the droughts and stuff. But yeah, it was raining a lot. That was nuts, man. I mean, it's still kind of one of those things. Like in retrospect, I'm like, I can't even believe I did it. Like, you say you're gonna do something for so long, and I just had to, if nothing else, it was good for me in this fact that I had a desire to get out of here.
It's good to get refresh your.
Yeah, man, I just had to get away, put some shit in perspective. Like, I was going to my job, 5 days a week. I was making music on the side, doing all these little artistic endeavors, and I was just like, man, is this it? Is this what my routines come to? And I was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. I don't got anything keeping me here. I don't got a girlfriend, or I didn't, I didn't have a baby. I didn't have a girlfriend.
Congratulations.
Like
we don't need that.
And
fuck all that noise.
Yeah, like that's a whole nother conversation. Like, and like it's not even that I'm like not into romance. Like I am. I mess with all that. You just gotta find the right person,
right?
And like reciprocate. So I was, I just wasn't really doing any of that. So I'm like, what better. Like, what excuse can I honestly come up with? I'm 22. I was 22 years old. I had all this money saved up. I wasn't in any debt. I was like, man, fuck it. Let's go. And my buddy, he was the one that kind of pitched it to me. And he had come back from a previous go. That was his second attempt because his first buddy, like, had, like, a panic attack and was like, dude, I can't do it. Like, I got to go home. First week they're out there.
I would get there and have, like, a panic attack. What's all this traffic?
Yeah.
What is going on?
And, and it's like, I'm not even, like, shading that guy because it's a lot to take in, and it's not for everybody. And if you've never been out there prior to kind of scope it out, and you just show up like I'm moving here, like I didn't get a chance to go out there prior.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that, it was that. It was just, man, there's so many homeless people out there. Goodness gracious. I mean, everywhere you look, homeless people. In fact, one of my friends told me that he used to work for a lot of those, I guess assisted, to help like people who don't have homes in the shelters and stuff. And in a lot of the colder regions, what they'll do is that these homeless people actually accumulate enough money and then get a one-way ticket to the hotter regions like a Florida or Cali. Because it's fucked up to say, but if you got to be homeless, that's not, what I mean? If you got to be homeless, you might as well be somewhere where it's going to be easier a majority of the year to actually be on the streets.
Oh, definitely. No, if I found out, like, if everything's going wrong, if I'm losing all my money, I lost my job, it's like, dude, first thing I would do is, like, or the last thing I would do is, like, spend the last of my money on, like, one-way plane trip. I'm not staying here. Yeah. You got me fucked up.
Yeah,
like, staying here in the winter, dude.
What you come to find out is a lot of those people, they are, from other regions, and they just worked their way out there, got on a Greyhound, and never looked back. They took what they had on their back, and that was it. It's like, fuck. I mean, there's Skid Row. You know what Skid Row is? It's just like homeless people village. Like, for miles, it's just tents. And we saw that because, like, my buddy, he's big on photography, really talented. And he was really into the night. Like, one of his aesthetics is, like, he likes to do night shoots. So we would go, like, to the downtown areas and shoot, like, you're talking light up skylines, and he likes the urban fashion wear and stuff like that. And I mean, the amount of homeless people we just see wrapped up in sleeping bags and tents, and you're just like, damn, like, this is really how people are living out here. That shit's just, man. And it also, like, too, like, I come back and I just don't sweat money as much because a lot of the people, it's just kind of a rite of passage in the culture to be 5 people in a 3-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom apartment. And this living room space would be someone's room.
Right.
And that's how they break up the rent. Like we talked about, $1,500 for a studio apartment. That's a house here.
Yeah. You got to have a good job or something.
Oh man,
right?
yeah. Which is like I said, what it creates a culture of a lot of CEOs and big time execs and all these famous Hollywood actors and stuff. Because it's like, yeah, I mean, LA's amazing if you got it.
Yeah.
If you got the money, shit, it can be paradise or it can be the worst fucking place on earth.
Right.
It all depends on your bank account and who you know. And it creates a lot of that culture where people will ask your Instagram. I had a girl ask me my Instagram handle before she even got my name. But we were on the beach and we were shooting something and she's thinking, oh, I don't know him. He could be a big shot. He could be the next big thing. You just don't know. So a lot of it, there's a certain understanding that you invest in your nightlife, because going out to the clubs is your opportunity to meet that producer, that director, models. I mean, you just never know. You have to shake every hand, or at least that's the kind of mentality. But then it also creates that, it's hard to make friends here kind of thing. There's people aren't necessarily the most friendly. You get a lot of very suspicious people, but understandably, you just don't know who's trying to take advantage of you.
Right.
So that was tough too. That was definitely because I'm so used to having like a core group of people I can go to about anything. And when it's just you and one person and you're cooped up in an Airbnb day after day and you just don't know where to start, and you show up with some, I'm an aspiring artist kind of thing. Oh man.
Join the club.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you and every other fucking person out here, or at least a huge demographic, and then they'll ring you for every penny. I mean, they'll sell you all sorts of shit. Like, oh yeah, I'll make you big, or
I'll sign
link
you,
you
dude.
up. Yeah, I can link you up with that. And I did a show out in Long Beach, and I swear to God, that show was it wasn't shit compared to the shows we do here.
Really?
Yeah, I swear.
Why is that?
Just the production value, the talent, the organization. It felt like a quick money scheme, honestly. It felt like somebody was sitting at their crib and was like, yo, how can we make a quick buck? Because it was pay to play. So everybody who was on the bill had to pay to be on it. We all paid like $35. I have no reason to lie. Like, I didn't just magically like start rapping on the street and got picked up for a show. Like, no, I started going, hey, where can I perform out here? And they're like, oh yeah, well, dude, it's mostly pay to play. It's the way to filter through the talent. I mean,
Do they have a lot of open mic nights out there?
That's what it was. It was an open mic,
a
paid open mic.
Yeah.
And they can afford to do it because it's like, we're LA. They have the brand power to be like, we're LA. We're the home of Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, etc. All the famous people live here. So you never know. One viral video or one good video and one bump in could change your whole life. What's $35 to you? Should be nothing. So you get a lot of shady promoters, and like I said, it's just hard to know who's genuine.
Yeah. But you're saying the show you think was like shittier than like shows?
Dude,
around
I swear,
here?
we were in a fucking.
Or did they just suck?
We were in the corner of a fucking pool bar.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude, in the corner of a pool bar.
Not even a real venue.
Not even a real venue, bro. A corner of a pool bar with a wired mic and a DJ who had his DJ shit on the pool table.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit.
Oh no.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just looking around like, nah, G, like we do better shows back in Davenport in the Quad Cities, but. Now, mind you, that was one show. So like I said, I've seen some of the other gigs, and they're awesome. So it was one, but it's just that thing, everything that glitter ain't gold, the grass is not always greener on the other side, and there's a lot of people selling that LA experience, and they're making a quick buck off people.
And the thing is, around here, if there was like a tiny little show like that, it has a bigger chance to be like still awesome. Like just because. But
right, I mean, like it's a weird thing when you have like ASAP Rocky was in town when I was out there, and Blueface, he kind of blew up, but that's his hometown, and he was doing a show like a couple blocks from where I was staying, It's so weird. It's like, damn, ASAP's over there, Blueface is there.
Who knows? Like, you just be next to like a famous person in traffic or some shit too, you know?
And the crazy thing is, everyone's like, oh, did you see anyone famous? And I'm like, not really, because I wasn't looking for
Like,
famous
well,
people.
probably I did.
Probably. I was probably in the radius of more famous people than I realized and just didn't know.
Just like,
You know
like
what I
a
mean?
fucking expensive store. Anyone in there?
Well, that's
probably
what I
some
said.
famous
Like,
people in
there's
there.
this spot. I can't remember the name. I want to call it the Grove so bad, but I might be wrong. And dude was like, "Oh yeah, if you go in there, you're gonna bump into a hella famous people. It's one of them like the nicest malls in LA, and that's like a common place to bump into celebrities of every grade, you know, from D to A." But I was kind of like, man, I don't know if I want to do that. There's the part of me that's like, damn, I'm this close and I didn't. But there's something about seeing them in person. I don't want to. I'm not that kind of person that's gonna freak out and like want a selfie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very big on the respect their boundaries, especially if they're with their kids and their families. You know, it's like, for example, like some of my friends are like, damn, like what if you would have bumped into Donald Glover, who I'm a huge fan of. I mean, he's one of my fucking creative heroes, and it's just like I'd have to scope it out. Of course, there's a part of me that, like, I want a picture, I want to hold a conversation.
Go up to him now.
Exactly, and you're just like, all shit, all bets are off, bomb rush him. But it's like, how many people do you think a day tell him he's such an inspiration and they love him and they're his biggest fan? It's like, man, he's heard it 1,000 times, and I'm sure he would. It's not that he wouldn't be appreciative, but he doesn't know me. Like, I'm just another dude to him, you know. So, yeah, I mean.
And a lot of times people that are famous are generally nice about, like, sure, we'll take a picture, but when it comes to, like, if they're, like, with their kids and family, it's like, don't go anywhere near them. Don't be that guy.
Right, like, don't treat him like a damn zoo animal.
Yeah.
They get enough people out there taking pics, and like I said, you know, I mean, hell, you got a culture where we'll rush someone that's famous that we're not even a fan of just to say we met them.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you see it, like, you watch some of those videos of people going up and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I know who you are, blah, blah, can I get a picture? And then they'll be like, yeah, sure. And then the person's like back in the background, looks back like, oh shit, who's that? Oh, I should get a picture too. And it's like, dude,
right.
you don't even know who they are. You know?
Have you ever met anyone famous?
As far as out there,
Anywhere.
When you say met, do you mean like I was at a show of a famous person, or like I actually legit like talked to them?
Not necessarily a show, but not necessarily talk to them. Have you talked to any famous people or been close to any famous people besides just a show?
And that's the thing. Like, I wish I had a cooler LA story, but truthfully, I met like two like semi-famous people the average person wouldn't know. I did go to Tyler the Creator's store.
Oh yeah.
And there was this girl who's like a model. She was like talking among some of the staff, close friend or mutual friend of Tyler, I take it. And she was at the store. I didn't know her well enough to bother to say anything to her because I didn't put it together until after the fact. I'm like, oh shit, that was that one famous girl. But yeah, I saw her and I saw Andy Dick. You know Andy Dick? Yeah.
No way.
I bumped into him downtown LA, Hollywood, like on the Hollywood walk, you know, like Walk of Fame or whatever. And he was like walking by, and my buddy pointed it out. I wasn't even paying attention. He's like, oh shit, that was Andy Dick. And he like was right there. He had just passed us. And I'm like, oh. And like I said, I know of him. I've seen his stuff, but like not enough to go, Andy Dick, please, like,
please.
take a picture. Like, wait, come back.
And like we said, if your buddy hadn't noticed, there's probably plenty of times both of you walked by famous people you didn't even see.
Well, first of all, it's one thing to be on the hunt for celebrities. It's another thing to just wonder, where the fuck am I at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying not to die out here. Like, like I'm trying to figure out the landmarks, let alone like be on the scouting out famous people. You know
There's so much to take in.
Yeah, it's so much. It's sensory overload, man.
Definitely.
So it's like, nah.
It'd be a fun experience, I guess.
It was an amazing experience. I would tell anybody to go. I just know for me, the way my bank account was set up, and I just felt like I just didn't have enough of a grasp on the way to navigate. I'm sorry, I keep looking over there because I'm just like looking at your collection of
See, what do we got here?
flicks. I see the Wild Thornberries like full series.
Shout out, there's the poster up there too.
For real?
Fucking A, right,
Oh,
right
right
above
on.
your head.
Oh, bet. Yeah, dude, I'm a fucking
Classic.
huge, like, I can tell you're like a movie show enthusiast.
I would say I'm a huge nerd for like animation.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily into anime. like,
Okay.
animation, and I'm not
Cartoon,
really into
American cartoons.
Yeah, I still love the Pokemon cartoon. That's anime.
That's a
I'm not
classic.
into playing the game or cards.
Just
or
the show.
Just the show.
Same. I
And
was
like
the same way.
and Boondocks, that's like anime.
That's a fucking classic.
Other than that, I don't
can't wait
watch
for that
like
to come
anime.
back.
Oh, yeah, it's coming back. Shit.
Yeah, they're gonna bring it back.
Boondocks is one of the best shows ever fucking made. Oh yeah, that thing can tighten up, so yeah, it won't fall on you.
There we go.
And
Oops.
then, but yeah, I'm a nerd for animation, I guess.
Dude, I love
like, all the
animation.
classic Nick, Cartoon
Well, you know,
Network shit.
damn, you want to get in that? Because we can go. I can go into some shows.
But dude, I'm not really into movies. I am.
Really?
I am.
More so shows, though.
Yeah, the thing is, there's like, you could probably name off countless like historical like classic films.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen it.
Cinematography. is
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
There's
funny
so many
because
famous films I've never seen.
when I got ready to go to LA, that was something that I really got into because I work at Best Buy. So like, there's just too much temptation there for one. And like, I'm like the movie guy at my job. Like it's the like across the board, everyone knows it. I'll dedicate at least 20 minutes a day when I'm at work, or at least back in the day when I was actually a sales floor associate. And I would just sift the floor and like get an idea what's out, and also to memorize, because especially once it gets to like more of the peak season time, you get a bunch of people who are looking like, hey, I need this movie, and I'm like, boom, I got you. So like boom boom boom, I grab it and get them out the door. So one of the things that I got really big on when I was getting ready to go was like, I was like, man, I'm gonna be in LA with so many film buffs. I want to know my shit, and I need to like start watching a lot of the Oscar movies because I'm like somewhat good about it. And it's not that I don't enjoy the films, but just I'm a big like blockbuster. Like most of the time I'm going to the movies, I'm seeing the next big blockbuster, whether it be a Marvel movie or a Star Wars or something like that. And I enjoy those flicks. Like that's what I grew up on, but I also like enjoy like, just a great story that's well acted and well written. And yeah, I would like start trying to binge them all, like Forrest Gump and like Saving Private Ryan. I just started buying them. Most of them were like in the $5 bin at my job. But yeah, like show wise, man, oh my gosh, I can talk cartoons all day. Like I fucking love cartoons. In fact, I just rebought. Okay, so if we're talking Nick, we want to start Nick and then go to Cartoon Network?
Yeah. Well, what's some of your favorites? And shit?
Okay, so my favorites, and motherfuckers can judge me, I don't care. I love like Rugrats is like one of my tops.
Classic.
Dude, classic. And I literally bought the first in the Paris movie, like, you know, the first two films. Fucking gems. Like to this day I love that. Hey Arnold.
That's one of my that's probably my top favorite. One of my
Wait,
tops.
Hey Arnold?
Hey Arnold.
Dude,
that show
amazing.
is incredible.
So good.
Like
so
the art,
good.
the voice actors.
voice
you know Grandpa,
actors.
right?
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
that's like Homer Simpson and shit.
Really?
Same dude.
Same dude. Wow.
And I can tell like he did some background voices in the show sometimes.
You know,
and some of those
super
characters,
funny.
it kind
What
of
you
sounds like
come
Homer
to realize
Simpson.
is that the voice acting industry is way smaller than you think.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot
that
of
they
big names and
recycle.
shit.
Like, okay, Tara Strong. You know Tara Strong.
Yeah, she was one of the Powerpuff Girls. Yep, Bubbles.
Raven, Tommy Pickles. Like she's everywhere.
Or no, Tommy was.
Tara Strong.
No. Tommy was fuck. What's her name? I swear to God.
I'm pretty sure it's
No,
Tara
I
Strong.
swear to God. We can Google it right now.
Let's Google
We'll Google it right now. It's E.G. Daily, dude.
Oh man, maybe.
But I think she was.
Maybe you just.
Is she like she probably is one of the Rugrats though, right?
I could have sworn that
I
Tara
think it's
Strong
like-
did her too.
Tara Strong. She might have was.
Let's
Was
see.
she like Phil and Lil or something?
I gotta find this out. This shit's gonna drive me nuts.
We got to pull this shit up right
Yeah,
now.
we gotta find out.
Yeah, that's why we need poor Bill here too to run another
Okay,
computer.
you're
Yeah,
right.
pull it
Elizabeth
up.
Daily. You're right. Well,
But
damn, who
Tara
am I
Strong was
thinking
probably
of?
on Rugrats, right?
I'm just gonna look up Tara Strong and find out who she's actually voiced, because I know she's voiced hella people. Like I was to the point where I was like starting to put two and two together. And I'm like, damn, that's her too.
I've gotten like over the years really good at like
Was
if
she-
I'm watching a show, I'm like, ooh, that's so and so. You know, I'm really getting used to their voices. You know, where I can kind of point it
she-
out and shit.
Hold on a second. I think I might have just realized who I confused her for. Timmy Turner.
Timmy Turner.
She was Timmy Turner on Fairly Odd Parents.
But she is on Rugrats.
She might.
I think it says right here. I don't know if I could pull it up real quick. I'm not even IMDb.
I would not be shocked. Okay, yeah, it does say it's in her filmography.
No, is she? Wait a minute. Fuck. Oh, apparently Elizabeth Daily.
She was Dill.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I wasn't tripping. I knew she was like one of the pickles.
Hey, apparently here the girl Elizabeth Daily who did Tommy, she apparently did Susie also.
Susie? Really?
Yeah.
I thought Susie was voiced by a black girl.
Huh.
Do you mean it was all a lie? Like all this time?
It was a lie.
It's all a lie, man. But no, man, like it's insane her portfolio.
Dude, yeah, a lot of those people, man, they're just all
these
over.
These are voices you heard that pretty much defined our childhoods.
To be honest with you, if we could make this podcast grow and become bigger, I'd love to get like voice actors in here.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I'm super into that. Like that's one thing I'm like into doing myself is voice acting.
I would love to get into that, and I think it's a really I don't want to say not respected medium, but I don't think those people get enough credit sometimes.
They don't get enough credit, but they got it good. It's like shit. You don't have to be an actor. You can just go in
literally
your pajamas.
Show up in your pajamas, man.
Yep. And
I mean, think about how many like A-list actors. Like think about Tom Hanks. Think about how much money he got to do those Toy Stories, man. The checks to show up, and like I said, it's not a visual medium. It's all about how you can make people feel with your voice, and then the animation will do the rest. And like, I don't know. I think something about me getting older, and I mean, call it me being a man child, whatever you want to call it, but like something about the cartoon medium just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And like I just been like binging hella like cartoons again and shit, and it's just like I even like went on like a little Pixar binge. Like I've been buying hella Pixar movies. Like I had the Toy Stories, but like I got the Incredibles. Like the Incredibles is like probably my top 3 Pixars. Monsters Inc. is the other one, and Toy Story. And I got like Ratatouille, just hella, and like the first 2 Shrek movies. And I was like, man, like I fucking love these movies. Like how have I not owned them all this time?
Right. Well, you're kind of an artist too, right?
I do.
I've seen your Instagram.
I was drawing.
Because for me, when I'm watching animation, it's just super like inspiring for me. Like, oh, look at this art. Listen to this music. Listen to all that shit.
I think that's why like it sucks for my bank, but my bank account, but like. From an art, and like I'm just an art enthusiast. I just love everything art, like whether it be a cartoon thing, whether it be video games. I love video games. Like okay, for example, I don't know like what consoles you play on, but I just recently started God of War.
See, I'm not even a gamer.
Oh shit,
not anymore.
That's a whole other thing, man.
I'm like, if I do play, like I don't anymore, but like I have a lot of the old school consoles.
Yeah,
like
that's a rabbit hole, man. And like I've even like I don't game as much as I did as a teen, but fuck, man, some of these games, the like ambition, I mean, damn, it's like damn near cinematic movies that you play.
Yeah.
You know?
And all, even the the in between the stories, that play out.
The cutscenes and whatnot.
It is like a movie.
The tech is getting so insane to the point where the cutscenes are so seamless, where you're like, damn, like I thought, you know what I mean? Like the gameplay and the cutscenes, how like back in the day you could blatantly tell like, oh, this is where the budget went to the cutscene, and then you play the actual. You actually take control and the graphics. Like,
exactly. They always preview the cutscenes because it looks amazing, and then the gameplay's like,
graphics drop significantly. It's getting to the point where the cutscenes are damn near on par with the gameplay, or vice versa, I should say. And you're like, wow, this is just beautiful.
A lot of games nowadays, you're not even playing a game; you're playing a movie.
Yeah. A movie, like a movie you play. Yeah. Like that's why I feel like, I mean, you think about Red Dead, the like Grand Theft Auto and all that, like the narrative-based stories, those are usually the ones that win the Game of the Years because people love a great story, hands down. You know what I mean? And it's like that God of War, man. I haven't got very far because I like played it once and then I kind of like shelved it just because I want to get back to it at some point. But damn, did that game make an impression on me? That game made me feel a way that a lot of games have not made me feel in a long damn time. And I was like, geez, Louise, like, that's an industry, man. Like, those people, the amount of hours, like that, the gaming industry, like most art industries, you don't get into that shit because of the money. You get into that shit because you love it, because you're working 60, 70 hours a week to crank this bad boy out by release date. Think about all the animators for these movies, man.
Right.
Okay, the Sonic shit. I don't know if you heard about all the controversy. So
they had to redesign the shit.
And you better believe those people are not probably going to get paid extra for it. Something that I guarantee you one of those animators brought to the attention of the director and all the head people at whatever studio is putting it out, I forget. And they're like, nah, we're all right. and it'll be all right. Just finish the shit. And then fans spoke up, and they're like, "This is some bull."
Isn't that like the first time that's ever happened?
Never. First time,
redesigning a character. Like,
that aspect probably, to the point that the outcry was so blatant.
Like, we don't want it.
Yeah, where they're like,
you're kind of facing like the studio's facing like, well, are we gonna just go with it, or are we gonna flop at the box office?
There's a saying between like gamers and movie viewers that when a movie gets delayed, it's usually a good sign, because it means, okay, they're really trying to polish it up and get it right. When a game gets delayed, it's a good sign, because it's like, okay, bet they're really trying to make sure the final product is on point. When a movie starts getting delayed, it's like, oh shit, something's not right. Why are they not on schedule to get this out like they said? And I mean, the movie didn't look all that great anyway, but at least respect Sonic enough to like do him right. And I'm not even a big Sonic fan, but I just saw it. I mean, it just flooded the timeline when that shit came out and the trailer dropped, and everyone's like, no, this is terrible.
What do you think? How do you think the look was? Do you think it was bad?
I thought it wasn't Sonic. Let's just say that. I know Sonic well enough to go, that's weird. Why'd you do that? You know, like, you could have literally just ported him from the games to the movie and just made him 3D and made him live action.
Like he's like small, basically, kind of.
Oh, no,
like
no,
in the games, like
not even.
Isn't he like
that.
short?
No. He's at least like the size of like a small person.
Right. Well, the design in the movie, it felt like it was like someone like me. He's like kind of tall and skinny, just wearing like a blue suit or something.
The problem was that people felt he looked too humanoid.
Okay.
Like it was almost like that.
They wanted him to be more like
more like a
He was
creature.
definitely pretty humanoid.
He looked a little too freaky. Like they gave him like realistic teeth and shit, and people were like, "Oh, this is kind of like some weird like hybrid, like like some dark fanfic type shit." Like
I was wondering, did they ask, what do you want us to redesign? You know, like what did they look into?
I know that's
what the reason was?
I think people just wanted a more loyal rendition. I think they're just backtrack.
I was just trying to think myself. I was like, so I wonder what the final product will look like now.
Yeah,
What's
and
it
I
gonna
think
look like
it also it didn't help that they were right off the heels of the Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
And those designs were amazing. People loved the way they brought that series to life.
Because Pokemon, they just made it look like how it looks.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, there's certain things you have to translate because you're thinking, no, this was a 2D thing on a show that we're now making a real 3D physical thing. So, like, the way that they designed, like, most people forgot until the movie that Pikachu's a mouse. Like, he's furry.
Yeah.
And I was, like, pointing it at, like, people were talking about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, like, he would definitely have hair, like, fluffy hair like that. And then, like, the Charizards and shit had, like, scales. And it just, like, the attention to detail, like, you could tell it was a labor of love. That animation team got down. And, yeah, like, I loved, like, I mean, most of these cartoon characters I was drawing as a kid because I loved to draw. I mean, that was my first love. Before I was ever rapping, I was an illustrator. Still am.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten into that yet.
Man.
For those who do not know.
Yeah.
Mr. Hip Hop Artist.
Damn. People were like, what the fuck? This guy's going on some tangent about cartoons. Like, shut up.
Hell yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, man, rap. Like, I love that shit. And it's another love. Like,
but you're originally like an artist. Basically.
Yeah. Like illustration. So it started illustrator / writing. Because I loved writing, always have. And then like theatrical, where I was like, I would like to act or like, voice act, stuff like that. And then the last piece of my gauntlet, I should say, was rapping. And it was just because I just love music and how it all happened. I guess I should probably just tell the story for the people that are tuning in that don't know.
So like you got into like drawing and writing around the same time?
Yeah, as a kid.
How old?
Man, I was the like classic like kid, I mean fucking borderline toddler who drew on the walls type shit. Yeah, I was that kid.
Hell yeah.
So my mom, man, I was never without Crayolas and markers and any other type of art 2D medium.
I feel like most kids are like that. I think little ass fucking babies and shit, they're like generally like creative and curious about the world. I think everyone would be like that, always having markers and shit. It's like, isn't it like something? I don't know if it's like the parents or being in school, they go down some other path. Like, stop drawing. Here, take this calculator instead.
Well, it's because, man, that's deep. Oh, no, like, and I really believe that. I think that we are inherently creative. I hate when people are like, oh, I could never draw. Like, yes, you can.
My buddy is...
Maybe you're not, like, look, it's just the truth. Some people pick up on shit faster than others.
Yeah,
you know, you can talk about, oh, it's in your nature, or you're just naturally gifted. I believe if you want to do it, you'll do it. I really believe that.
Definitely.
And I think that everybody's creative to some degree, but like you said, as we get older, we're not really taught to be creative. We're just, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're drones.
Yeah, you get, you know, shoved into this compartmentalized shaped box. You gotta be
You're
like
taught
everyone
how to-
else. You
You're
know,
taught how to like follow the leader. You know, and you're taught.
that comes in what we were talking about
taught
earlier before we
routine.
started recording. We were talking about the fucked up kind of education system in a sense.
Yeah,
and that's
man.
a big thing.
Well, and that's what I say. What's the first thing that they pull from the schools? The art programs.
It's like that's like the last thing you should be pulling.
Exactly. That's how you stimulate the future, man. Like
Everything is art.
Yeah,
literally
is
everything
art.
I'm looking at right now.
It's insane, like how people, you know, and
Designing this microphone is art. Fucking.
You always have these people, you know, just ignorantly or like they dismiss art and they're like, "What are you gonna do with that? What can you do with that?" It's like, motherfucker, from everything from your head to your toes is art. You know, yes, there's subcategories of art, but from your phone to your fucking your fashion sense. You know, hell, even food is a culinary art.
Of course.
Right? It's all art.
Everything.
Art makes the world go round. I really believe that. That's why I'm such an art enthusiast.
Seriously.
I don't care. Man, art saved my life. Like, that's one thing I'm so gracious to my mom and my father for, is that they always kept things creatively stimulating around me growing up. And that's, I think, why I'm the way I am. You know, I was always drawing. I was always, you know, doing a skit, you know, just being zany and creative, and it's just you need that, man. I mean, people don't realize artists are weird.
Oh yeah.
The people you like admire so much, man, they're weird. Look at Gaga. Look at the shit they do. But
and some of the great artists like throughout history are like maniac, like insane
maniacs,
people, like
bro.
not even like mentally healthy, like
you know, not
fucking Van Gogh and
not
shit.
in any way, man. And it's just something so like something really beautiful happens when you just let somebody go. You know, you just give them the tools they need to just flourish. You get shit like Apple, you know?
Yeah.
You get shit that just changes the world.
Fucking
you know?
Disney,
Disney,
like
man.
fucking, especially little kids growing up right now, they got no fucking idea. It's like this huge empire that like is starting to own everything.
Owns
now.
everything.
But it started out as like some
borderline monopoly.
Some dude came up with like a fucking mouse character, and was like, hey, you know, we can animate it, which has been done before, but then like, hey, we're gonna fucking put sound to this shit.
Yeah.
And it's like just
Game
just
changer.
a simple little like mouse on a tugboat thing with sound, and it like completely changed the whole
Game
world.
changer.
It blew
I'm
people's
going to
minds.
Disney. I'm going to Disney in like 14 days. Dude.
I haven't been since I was a kid.
Yeah, man. This is my first time going.
Oh shit.
Vacation with the family, and I almost didn't go because I was like, man, I have to take 10 days off of work, but
Yeah.
I just got to the point. It's like, damn, it's a bucket list thing. Like,
Of course, especially if I haven't gone.
yeah, man.
What are you
like,
talking
I
about, in
wanna go.
California or Florida?
Florida.
Yeah, I've
Disney
never been
World.
to the California one. Which one is it? Disney World, Disneyland? I
I
can't
was
never fucking
corrected.
remember.
California's land,
Land.
Florida's world. What's the fucking difference? I don't know. There's probably a legit difference, but
Yeah. Why
shit.
go to the land when we can see the whole world?
But I'm so excited, dude. And like I said, it's about capturing that. Like, and I have nephews and nieces, so they're all going, and it's nice to share that type of stuff, man. That's the type of things that, and I think they're all right at the perfect age to go and have that experience. And it's like, shit, I'm 20. I'm in my 20s, but I'm still excited as shit.
Even the adults are excited.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, I'm hype, you know?
Hell yeah.
I'm a Disney enthusiast. Like, Disney's one of those brands that really built my
That's
built
like
my
most of our,
imagination.
like, probably most of the people listening right now, if they're around our age even, or even older or younger, it's
And
like,
it's-
it's
and I
like
mean,
their whole
we're-
childhood.
Yeah, man, and as you know, man, marketing 101, nostalgia sells. How much money you think this Lion King movie is about to go make? It ain't new. We all seen it. We all know what's gonna happen, but everybody's gonna be in
And
that.
why? Because of the art. That
art.
crazy fucking 3D, whatever the fuck it is,
Insane.
animation,
hyper
CG.
realistic. It's literally a CGI live action. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
written off as live action, but it's all CGI.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, man, that movie's gonna make a boatload of money.
Yeah,
it's gonna be one of the biggest movies of the year.
Did you see the new Toy Story 4?
I haven't.
I saw it, and they had a preview for the Lion King movie. I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, man, crazy.
It's crazy, man.
Might have to see
Even
that one.
even the Toy Story looked crisp.
Dude,
crispy.
you compare first Toy Story,
Yeah.
that original OG Pixar shit, to now, it's like,
Crispy.
what in the fuck? Like,
They
with
just
like
get better and better, man.
3D animation is like
Nuts.
same with,
We're not
video
even gonna be able to
games.
start telling the difference.
You won't. People already can't.
Can't.
Like, in certain ways, like the internet was freaking out because they released like a still image of like a cat
Yeah.
from the show, and it was like, oh, it's fucking
is
real.
it real? Man, the lights. They're getting real good at it.
They couldn't even do hair in the first Pixar movie. It had to be
Yeah.
like, it couldn't be like flowing.
Well, I
It had
was
to be,
like watching
still,
a thing where they
basically.
said that when they did The Incredibles, Violet, the daughter with the long black hair, that was actually one of the most, like, from an animator standpoint, they got like commended from fellow animators. Were like, holy crap, how did you guys pull off that hair? Because like I said, he was humanoid hair that flowed, and you could tell it was individual. It wasn't just a kind of a giant clumpy swish as some of the old animation was, because they just didn't have the tech to do it. And man, they're getting real good at it.
And people that like aren't really artistically minded or artists themselves, like, you don't even realize, like, it's like that little shit, like
Yeah,
hair,
little stuff,
little
man.
shit, hair.
And that's why I said, like, I just feel it's all in the detail. And I mean, I'm so happy I grew up an artist, a visual artist, particularly because
Man, I wouldn't
just
want it
love
any
that.
other way.
I wouldn't want it any other way, man. I wouldn't. It's crazy. It's like one of those things, like, you ever have those things in your life where you just take a step back and you go, holy crap, like, how different would my life be if I didn't have that? I don't even want to know that guy. I don't want to meet him. I don't.
God, that would sound sad as fuck.
Sad as hell. Like, art is amazing, dude. And I think that's one of the things that, like, as I'm older now and I'm really kind of navigating what I want to do and what I want to bring to people, is that stories are amazing. Stories bring people together, man. Like, they really do. And escapism is good. Like, that's why shit like Star Wars comes back and it just blows the box office, away, because it's a multi-generational thing at that
You got
point,
that
right?
nostalgia.
You got grandfathers who showed their sons, and those fathers showing their sons, and life can just beat you down. You can get so stressed out just day-to-day living. You're stuck in your 9 to 5, or your relationships with your whether it be friends or romantic and that shit. And sometimes you just need a good damn movie or a good show just to take you away. That's why Netflix is so huge, man. People love to binge, man. It's crazy how people like have the nerve to like talk shit about people who like stay in and do stuff like that. But then it's like, you realize you just binged 13 hours of a show in a day. 13 hours you just dedicated to some TV show.
Yeah.
You didn't think twice about it. And that's why, I mean, Netflix is so huge. Like,
And people can be lazy pieces of shit and waste their life binging.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, like addictive. It's like,
is.
It's the most incredible
well, it's funny,
shit.
Like, it's one of those things where ultimately the reason I bring it up is just like, people just do. Your time is your time. Like, you have to quantify how valuable you think it is. And, like I said, if you want to binge a fucking show, binge it.
And the thing is, like, Netflix, Amazon, like, the era we're in now, these companies have like this insane budget.
Oh yeah.
So the shit they're producing is like
High
it's
quality.
the best shit
Some of the best
society
shit
has
out.
ever seen. Like the best
Better
shows,
than the-
best writing, best cinematography.
I mean, that's why I feel like Netflix is so important, because you get to a place where you're talking about, almost like, I would say, like this uncharted platform where they can be more risky, they can take bigger chances, they can start focusing in on stories, on characters who aren't always necessarily the focal point. The character that's usually the friend gets an actual show. You can start highlighting different demographics of people. And when you have these mainstream TV shows who have certain ratings and all this other shit, they're kind of dictating every move. That's why I feel like the television medium's dying, like, as we know it. The cable shit, that's out.
Oh,
man,
God.
why do you think everybody's got their own streaming service? Even Disney's about to do one. Disney Plus. That shit's gonna go, it's gonna go crazy when that shit launches. You literally, I mean, it's like, damn, Disney. But the pitch is, we have a multimedia hub where you can get access to the plethora of hit movies and shows that we've released over the past 20 plus years, and one destination. You don't think motherfuckers aren't gonna leap at that? Oh, it's over with.
One thing I think we need to have, or what I think it needs to eventually become, is like, you know, you got Netflix and shit, and they got like plenty of shows on there. But then every now and then you hear, oh, Netflix is getting rid of this. Oh, they're getting rid of that. It's like, I think at some point, if this is the direction we're moving in, all this streaming shit, there needs to be like an online, you know, like a Netflix type of thing that has like everything, and I mean everything, like anything that's been produced by any kind of like
you can get access
big enough studio, like shit that's like, you know, historical, like silent movies. I should be able to look up every silent movie ever made if I wanted to, you know, like it needs to be like a fucking dictionary or whatever, like, you know, all the shit ever made.
And that's, I mean,
and that comes down to like, you know, the studios owning the rights, so it's like, we're gonna take it off, and this and that.
Who's gonna get paid for what?
I guess eventually when it becomes like, when she gets old enough, it's like, what's it called? It's like basically released to the public for free.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the term.
Yeah. So in the comments, tell us. We're too dumb to remember. What's that term? Fucking, where it's public domain for.
Yeah, it becomes, like I said, like the information becomes like is released to the people.
Right.
I think that's part of why the internet's so insane, dude. It's a tool and it's a weapon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about what you could find just Googling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even YouTube used to be the Wild West until it started getting commercialized.
God.
And Google got it. You know what I mean? Think about how different YouTube is.
You guys remember back in the day, no ads?
No ads.
Oof.
It's changed so much. What I will say is I think it's beautiful that there's so many people who are able to make it a full-time job. Mm-hmm. It's their main source of revenue, and they can do something that they love and essentially be their own boss. You know, obviously they have to work within the guidelines of YouTube, but aside from that, shit, they're pretty much free to do as they please and curate a space for their, you know, direct contact to their people. I think that's so dope. But yeah, man, YouTube's changed a lot. And they've been snatching up at me, especially with the rights thing, like the music. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, people getting copyright claims left and right. And it's that struggle, man, where it's like, how do you like put possession on information, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a weird struggle. And it's going to be something we're going to be battling with for years to come.
Oh, yeah.
Because this internet shit ain't going away.
No. Oh, no. It's been a fucking... Okay, so the universe started with the Big Bang. The launch of the internet is like a fucking Big Bang.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
no,
like, seriously.
You know, I was just telling to my friend, that's a great analogy, because the internet is literally less than 50 years old, dude. Less than 50 years old. Way less.
I'm like as old as it almost. It's like late 80s, early 90s.
We're in that weird generation where we're right in, like, we're kind of sandwiched between two eras, like our particular generation, because we got our parents and grandparents who didn't have it, and now they have it. We've always known it, and then we've got these kids who, like, they don't, you know what I mean? Like,
they have no idea. They're just born in it.
They don't have no idea. Like, they don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, it's gotten to such a place of efficiency that you got kids that know how to function these tablets better than we do. Mm-hmm. And it's just, like, mind-blowing, man.
No, it's so intuitive, like, for them. A 3-year-old is, like, showing a grandpa what to do.
There's something kind of symbiotic, like, they just know right out the womb. You know, they're getting accustomed to this kind of world. And
yeah, dude.
I feel like we're gonna, like, there's just, it's gonna be a lot of missteps. It's new, it's a new thing for us, you know? Mm-hmm. Even cell phones, man. Like, look how crazy it is. Like, sometimes I know it's probably like, dude, like, are you, like, what are you even talking about? But when you really take a step and just step back from your phone, and you're just like, dude, this is a smartphone. You know what I mean? And
I think Elon Musk was saying we're basically cyborgs. If you say, we have
it's an extension of ourselves,
and eventually it's just going to be like in us or something.
Yeah,
like,
man. Well, and it's
AR
like like my day-to-day job right now is I'm a Geek Squad agent. So I'm a consulting agent. I work the desk, and my main position is that I'm supposed to greet the customer or the client, as we like to put it, and kind of get an assessment of their situation and help them with their tech needs, right? Man, the amount of busted phones that I've seen come in my store, and, like, people lose it, man. Like, the concept of not having access to their cell phones, people go insane.
Yeah.
But like I said, we've become so dependent on the damn thing, you know?
Of course. It is, like,
disconnecting
really
is hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard for people to disconnect. But like I said, why they always say, like, we're the era of most connectivity, yet people feel most lonely. Mm-hmm.
I think there's a reason for that, because, it's like this fake connection.
It is.
In a lot of ways.
That's a lot.
We're connecting now. It's great.
Connecting
but,
now.
It's like,
How
a
often
lot
do
of people are like
get this?
anxious and depressed and are just like sharing memes all day and
I literally told
really
somebody,
connect.
I said, I was like, look, I'm not a big texter, and talking over text is not a substitute for real interaction.
And even if we were doing this through Skype right now, that's not a good substitute either.
There's something about, like, people are awkward as shit, man. That's what you come to realize. And people don't like to be like made that for that to be known.
Yeah.
You gotta revel in your awkwardness.
You gotta embrace it.
You gotta embrace that shit. That's what makes you you. You know, like, everybody wants, you know, that's what phones have done to us, is that now we can modify and we can curate every moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have full control over what goes up of you, how it looks, what angle you're at, and it's like, fuck all that.
It's like a social status thing.
Social
look at me.
status,
Look at
bro.
how many likes I got.
Man,
Look how many
that's not
followers I
real.
got. It's like,
and that's why I tell, like, quit glamorizing the people you see online. You have no idea what's going on with them. That shit ain't real.
and
It's
especially
not.
when you get into like, dude, like any comment section anywhere on the internet, it's just a fucking dumpster fire.
It's literally,
Like, because, dude, you wouldn't talk to people that way if you were like right in front of them.
No,
you know?
you wouldn't.
It's like,
people get bold.
and a lot of people are shit posting. I get it. It's like you might be in a cubicle hating your job, and it's like, oh, it's fun to shit post, and like that, it might be some enjoyment for you because
It's
you
an
just your
escape.
life sucks or something. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of shitheads online that are really just like assholes, and it's like
Absolutely.
we're lacking connection to each other. We're like interconnected. We feel like we're connected. You could talk to anyone across the globe like instantaneously.
Right now.
But like when it comes right down to it, it's like
almost too
you're
much
probably
access.
really fucking alone.
It's almost too much access, right?
Yeah. We've
know?
never before in history been able to communicate this closely,
so
this fast.
easily.
Like,
And it's also like, someone made a great point. They said the thing about the way, especially like bullying or whatever you want to categorize it, or just being an aggressor online, is that back in the day, let's say, like, let's go to mail time, like when mailing was like legit the thing you had to do. You had to write that shit out, you know, probably revise it. And there's a process that goes under, like, where you're thinking, man, what am I doing? You know, like, hopefully, you know, you're like, what the hell am I even talking about? Rip it up and toss it. You can say things so quickly now. You don't even have to think. People aren't thinking, they're just saying.
they don't even proofread anymore.
No, not at all. Typos out the wazoo. Shit's ridiculous. You're like, damn. And, you know, and then you just say it and it's out there. And, like, man, that shit, like, everything online, they say the internet's forever. It takes 2 seconds, not even, 0.5 seconds to screenshot with the shit you post online.
And some people out there that are like being bigots and shit, it's like if you get caught online, you're losing your job. Shit.
Oh,
Like that
absolutely.
shit's happening now.
And especially, like, we're in an age of cancel culture, you know?
yeah.
Like, you get caught slipping, you say something online people don't fuck with, man, they can get you out of here real fast. That's a certain type of power people didn't have before. And I think it's for better and for worse. I've been very vocal about that. I don't know how I feel about some of this cancel culture. There's certain things I agree, but I also believe that at some point it's about educating people. I'm like, hey, that's not cool.
Right.
And we don't fuck with that, and you shouldn't do that shit again. But let's grow from that. Like,
Right.
take something from that and be a member, bring something positive to the table, you know?
Most definitely. Yeah, because
Reprimanding everybody is not
and it's like, and it depends on the crime.
exactly
Like, because
it's case by case.
and then again, it's like if someone's like a racist or something and they're online spewing all this hate, it's like I could understand them getting shut down.
Yeah.
I understand why. And then again, at the end of the day, it's like, is it? Obviously, we want to eliminate racists, and we don't want to necessarily have them have a platform. But then again, is it the correct way to go about it? Like, have you heard about that guy?
It's kind of like the burning people at the torch. And like in the thing, and I mean, maybe I'm just overly optimistic. I don't know, maybe some people aren't going to agree with this, but even that guy, it's like, first of all, that shit isn't taught. Or no, it's not. No, what the fuck am I saying? That is taught. I don't believe anybody just wakes up as a child and feels that. You're getting somebody's putting that shit into you.
If
Whether
you're
it
a
be your
racist,
uncle,
it's the same reason as like, whoa, this dude's a Christian.
Right.
Oh, they're raised that way.
you were
usually.
raised a certain way. You were around a certain group of people who started making you feel like those kind of thoughts were acceptable and appropriate.
And then maybe something else happened, like you did
started
interact with a black person, and maybe they happened to be an asshole.
You started forming opinions and making certain wild generalizations, and then you got to a place where and that's what you come to find out, like we say with the internet, makes people feel like they're more connected than they are. When it's like, bro, how many black people do you even see on a day-to-day basis to even have them kind of opinions? You know what I mean? But no, you're in your own little box, man. You probably don't. You go to work and you go home. That's it. You don't interact with the outside world.
And you
know. And it's like, even that guy like, hey, we gonna have to kick your ass real quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
of course,
we're gonna have to nip this shit in the bud because this ain't cool. But even that guy, I'm like, I hope you learn from it. You know what I mean? I hope you figure that shit out, because we don't have time for that. There's no place for that. But I still want that guy to do something positive.
Right.
Even if he's not in my circle, like this whole like, oh, he's a villain or he's the antagonist, and like, no, because you know what? He might run into some other little black boy, and I hope that he understands that what he did wasn't cool, and that maybe he can kindle, you know what I mean? Like, relationships are going to happen until you're in the grave. So I don't want anybody out here just being dead weight. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and like you said, someone just like, they're at work, they go home, and it's just like the culture they're living in, their neighbors. It's like they just, like you said, not even having any interaction with like black people. But then again, maybe they had one interaction, like a negative interaction with a black person, and then that just solidifies their crazy mindset, like, you know. But then again, what are we to do? Like, what's the right way? Of course, we want to be like, hey, that's not acceptable at all, you know. And you're gonna get your ass beat if you go talking fucked up shit around the wrong people.
It's kind of that thing of like, it's a bit of a piranha mentality where it's like, okay, cool, we got them fired from their job, they're the laughing stock online, now what?
Right. Yeah, it's like, oh, do you think they're not, what are they, they're still a racist, right? It's like, well, they're still gonna be,
it's what's next,
a bigot, you know. It's like, how about, did you hear about that one guy, that black guy who like befriended a bunch of like KKK members, and a bunch of them like ended up like, you know, getting rid of their robes? They're like, fuck this shit, because just because he's like, hey, we're not bad people, you know, that kind of thing. And that's like, seems like super genuine,
that's gonna
piss
a lot of people off. And I get it. I always try to say like, where's the middle ground here? I want to hear both sides. But man, look, a lot of that reaching over the table shit, like, it can really change things. Yeah. You know, like, I think we're just in a very fed up culture right now, because like I said, we see everything's in real time. Everyone's recording, and it's kind of like this notion of like, yes, I agree, this whole like, well, common sense should tell you should just not want to be that way. But everybody didn't grow up the way you did. Right. They just didn't. And
so that's like one of the hardest things for people to realize.
Like everybody didn't come up the way you did. It's like, it's the same reason why you might say something like, oh, like, why are you in that culture? Like, you know, why are you in gang culture? Why are you doing drugs? And it's like, sure, on the obvious outside, it's like, damn, you shouldn't be doing that, and let's reprimand these young kids. But it's like, I don't know his backstory. I don't know what type of things he's been traumatized by, or who he lost, or, you know what I mean? Or what type of people may have pressured him into that. What I can do is pull a homie aside and be like, hey, bro, this ain't it. You know, this ain't a good look. You know, could save a dude's life. You know, that's what we're talking about, like with the art thing, man. It's like these programs that these have at these schools, that's a big part of it. You know, introducing people to stuff they're not familiar with, and showing them that there's alternative ways, you know, to express themselves and to be a part of a community. And you get that in theater programs and, you know, extracurriculars. And that's the type of shit that they don't want to do. They just want to write these kids off as bad. It's like, man, it's so much deeper than that.
So much. That's just like,
that's
you're taking it for like surface value or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's like scratching the surface. That's like the iceberg thing, where it's like, okay, that's what you can see, but you don't know all this stuff. You don't know that he goes home and you don't even see his mom, because his mom and him operate on different hours. By the time that kid gets home, he doesn't even see his mom. He's a latchkey kid. You know, a latchkey kid. I was a latchkey kid. I got out of school, and my mom, man, bless her, I mean, she did what she had to do. You know, was brought up in a single parent household. You know, she was gone a lot of the time. She had to work. So I kind of started raising myself, you know. Or
that's when me and my friends would party.
Yeah, like, like, you know, you start forming your own opinions. And that's why I said, like, art was a big thing for me, because that was something I could do by myself. I could draw. I could write ideas. I could watch movies and, like, cartoons and shit. So, I mean, that's just what it was, you know. And I mean, I went that route, but it's so easy to go that other route.
Yeah.
You know, you get curious and you're like, oh, you start looking up to people outside and they're doing really troublesome things, and then you're where you're at.
Dude, that fucking like structured nuclear family setup seems like so foreign to me. Like, you get home from school.
Let's go. Yeah.
Mom's
Come on,
there.
Timmy. Time for dinner. Right?
Okay, exactly.
You know, that's it. Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. Most families don't even have
waiting for,
fucking dinner
dad
time.
comes home. Oh, it's dinner time. It's just like that same structured, like, that seems like so foreign to me. I don't have any of
I
this
don't know
shit.
shit.
Like,
yeah. Don't ask me.
it
I
seems
don't
like
know.
another world.
Man, mom texts me, hey, what you wanna order tonight? Like, that's just what it was. And I know a lot of people who are like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like I said, man, that's crazy. I'm right there with you. I don't know what that lifestyle is like. I don't know what it's like to sit at the dinner table every night and have talk time or whatever, you know, everyone talks about their day. Like, no.
And of course, sometimes it's like my mom would cook, which is us too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh yeah, you know, mom, dad, brother, sister. I don't know if you have siblings. I'm like an only.
It's weird. I have siblings. You know, like when we were talking about nieces and nephews and stuff. I have an older brother and sister that I grew up with. They were actually within my immediate household. And then my father has a son and daughter, so those are my siblings too. But mind you, my eldest brother is in his 40s. My father's in his 60s. I'm the last child between my mother and father. I'm the baby. By the time that I grew up and I was reaching, you know, adolescence, you know, or being a teenager, my brother and my sister were already in their mid to late 20s. They were already having families. So in a way, I grew up an only child.
There's a disconnect.
Yeah, there was a disconnect.
It's not like you got
we were in
like
different
1 year
chapters.
after the other type
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
You know?
There was almost a 12, 13-year gap between me and my brother and my sister.
That's way different too, yeah, than just having
So
like close
essentially,
siblings.
I grew up an only child in a lot of ways because they were very absent. My brother went off to the military. My sister had kids of her own and was kind of trying to, you know, navigate her life. So I grew up. It was just me and my mother and I. There was a small chapter in my life as a very small child where my brother and sister actually lived under the same roof as me. And then by the time I was actually like engaging in elementary, they were gone. They all went off there, you know, had
That
kids.
is interesting because it's like, yeah, you have siblings, but you're like an only child.
I'm like an only child. I say I'm an only child with siblings in a lot of ways, and I think that played into me forming my own opinions. It's probably the reason I was very passive, you know, because I was a very non-confrontational kind of kid. You know, I just kind of make peace, you know, not war kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like I said, I spent a lot of time by myself, and I think to my benefit.
Yeah.
I think that's how I like probably brought out some of the best artistic releases.
Definitely.
You know,
Dude, there's
like,
some people that can't like stand to be by themselves.
can't.
That's
They go
not healthy
crazy,
either,
right?
yeah.
It's not. Like, I'm in that weird place in my life where, like, I like being alone and I don't mind being alone because I've done it so much. But I also really love people, and I like good people. You know, like when you really like click with somebody and it's like, damn, this person's cool. I try to make opportunities for people to bond because I think we're not in that place in our lives, like as students of high school or middle school, where we had all this time that was allotted for us to spend with our friends because we were seeing them throughout a whole school day. As adults, we really have to take more initiative to hang out with people.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people I'm in that weird age group where a lot of my peers are still figuring that out, you know, where it's like, look, if you don't make time to see people, you won't make time.
Dude, this life is flying the fuck by. Like,
I'm 22, man. My niece is about to be a sophomore in high school. Blows my mind.
yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I'm getting older. And I don't know, like, all that shit really, what do they say? The most valuable thing that we all have, time. Time.
Yeah. And we sell it for bullshit minimum wage.
Man, look, that's part of what made me leave.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'm making, what? I was making like 11.
And that's better than a lot of people.
I was making like 11. Yeah. And that's what I say. You got to be gratitude. It's been the word of the year. Gratitude. You just don't know how good you have it. Even that, like just going to work and being in a tech store. This is a privilege. This shit is a privilege, man.
Some people are still trying to get electricity in some parts of the world. Hey,
It's a
some
real
people are trying to
thing.
get water.
You don't
Like,
want. No one wants to hear that. You talking too much truth, man. Be like, fuck all that. They don't got nothing to do with me. It's like, yeah, it don't got nothing to do with you, but man, you gotta stop sweating some of the stuff we sweat.
Yeah, because and no matter, like, America is and can be really fucked up for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, if you're born in America, it's like you won the lottery.
The jackpot, bro.
Dude, like,
bro,
are you kidding me?
The jackpot.
Like,
and like I said, let me make it very clear for listeners, that is not to say we're excusing some of the unacceptable behavior from our leaders and the people behind us, even in our community, because everybody can get checked and there's always room for improvement. But let's not sit here and act like America's the worst fucking place on the planet, because it really ain't, man. And it's like, and that's another thing about LA, like, everyone has a story, man. There's a lot of people that are in LA or in bigger metropolis, who are immigrants, legit, and like, hey, I came here for an opportunity for my family. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I loved about LA, was such a strong Latin community, Mexico's right there. Right there. You think about where it's at geographically. I mean, there's such a strong culture there. I mean, you have so many, people like from the Latin side, who, have businesses flourishing, they're selling stuff on the street, just hustling. It's a hustler city. And you can't do anything but respect it. Because like you said, you just don't know where they came from and how much they had to give to be here. And I mean, it's almost that thing of like, it's a joke my friend and I have where it's like, man, I'm almost scared to be super successful because I don't want no rich little asshole kids, man.
That's a big thing.
You know what I mean?
It's like, because dude, it's like, I listened to a comedian talking about, it's like, he's like, my favorite people all have like fucked up.
You talking about
pasts.
Joe Rogan?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I fucking love Joe. I literally saw the Joe Rogan live DVD over there.
You got good eyesight.
Dude, man, I'm exquisite.
I'm getting too old.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to have perfect eyesight.
It's some carrots, bro.
I hate to admit it, but like, I used to have perfect eyesight, but now I'm like an elderly man now, and I'm like, God damn it, but I ain't getting glasses.
Yeah.
I can still see decently,
You can
but
still
like,
decently.
I can see really good like far away. I can see really good up close. But like, there's like a middle ground where I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's weird.
You start trying to make it out. It's crazy too, because my mom and my dad both have glasses, so I'm kind of surprised that I like.
Same, yeah.
Like I'm all right for right now.
For right now, it's like
for right now I'm golden. But yeah, man, I love Joe Rogan. I watch a lot of his podcasts. But he said so many of the coolest people all had traumatic ass pasts.
And he's talking about how like that the hardest thing is like, you have kids and it's like, you don't want them to
go through that,
but you want them to be like a good person.
I think that was the Charlemagne one, wasn't
interesting.
it?
Yeah, I'm actually watching that one right now. I've been bouncing between some episodes. I saw some since then, but I was watching that one.
Like, where it's like, they always say every parent wants their kids to be better off than they were. I agree.
Y'all have to strive for that.
But it's like, damn, man, some of that, it's perspective, man.
It's like, how do you teach you really have to, especially if you're well off, if you're rich or whatever, even if you're like in a nice suburb, if you got like a 2-story house, to me that's like rich. Like, dude, if I lived in a 2-story house as a kid, I'd be like, wow, there's an upstairs. Like, I couldn't even imagine.
Dude, talk about it.
And so it's like, even if you're just like well off, if you can pay your bills, it's like, you gotta instill into your kids, it's like, you gotta understand like how lucky we fucking have it.
This isn't the reality for everybody else.
For most people, it is not the reality. Like, you get to, like we were saying, mom's always home, dad comes home from work, we sit around the dinner table, it's all happy. Like,
I'm so fed up. I couldn't get the new MacBook. I'm so pissed off. And it's like, dude,
they're talking about going to some foreign country. Like, this isn't as good as that.
We're going where for vacation? Motherfucker, you taking a vacation?
Oh my
that
God.
word alone, that sentence, I'm going on vacation, is a privilege, man.
And
wants and needs, man.
That's one of the hardest things that you have got to teach your kids, and that's one of the things I think people don't realize.
No, not at all.
Like,
you just get a bunch of little entitled assholes, and then you get out in the big world, and the world doesn't give a fuck about you. That's what LA. You know what? If you want to know my true takeaway, is the big world doesn't give a fuck about you, and that's why I am so appreciative of my true friends, not friends just on Instagram or Snap or fucking acquaintances. I'm talking about my true friends. Like, 2 of my fucking best friends respectively drove 3 hours respectively to come to my show that was 2 weeks ago. Man, what do I have to complain about?
That's amazing.
What do I have to complain about? Everybody doesn't have that.
You're rich.
I'm rich. That's wealth, bro. That's a different kind of wealth.
Seriously,
man. And it's like, you got to understand the people that really are looking out for you. You got to appreciate that, because there's a lot of shady people in this world who won't think twice. It's either you or me kind of mentality for a lot of people. And man, I'm so fucking grateful.
Dude, I'm really like grateful because I don't know how, but
I saw you post something too that made me think about that. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Where you were like, man, I was an only child, but I'm so great. I have brothers.
Yeah, I posted that because it was like that was like a throwback post. I like posted that. It was like National Siblings Day or whatever. I was like, shit, you know. I was like, you know.
But I'm
wealthy. I'm still wealthy.
Man.
Like, you know.
Like you know you have a core. Like I know you and Jacob are tight, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's your home. I mean, you guys have you do a group. You guys have a music group. Like you don't just do that with anybody. That's somebody you really fuck with, and like it's amazing, man. Some people just don't know what having good friends is, man.
And that's like it's so sad. Yeah.
You know, where they're like, damn, I don't know who I could go to for some, like if I was not even, it doesn't necessarily have to be problems, but that's usually when your friendships are tested, is when you're going through some shit. But even just to make small talk or tell that good news to, like, I know who I can hit up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I don't know how I like learned this or grasped this idea, but I figured it out like really I was kind of young, I guess, because I realized, I don't know if it was like just hearing stories from like older people, whether it's your parents or just any other older person. They're like, you know, my best friend in school and shit, we were so tight. And it's like, I haven't seen him in 40 years. I realized like something I realized really early on. I was like, you know, like I have that close group of really best friends, and it's like, I'm not letting this go.
No.
I'm not like, we moved away and like,
why did we fall out?
Fall out, like I will not
like,
allow that to happen.
Some of my like people I would consider their family, as far as I'm concerned.
Of course.
If they hit me tomorrow and said I need somewhere to crash, say less. Come on, drive on over here. Or do I need to pick you up? You know what I mean? Like there's just certain, without hesitation. I don't necessarily get to speak to them every day. Hell, sometimes I'll go months without speaking to some of these guys. But there's an understanding that you're my boy and I'm your boy, and that's all there is to it. Because like you said, as we get older, that's mind-blowing, bro. I have friends with kids now.
Yeah.
Like one of my good childhood friends has a whole-ass child. And I'm like, damn, dude, you're a daddy. And that's like a weird kind of thing. So I understand his responsibilities are shifting. That's the person who I would hope, you know, and as a friend, I'm going to hold you to that, is that everything moving forward is about that little guy there.
Yeah.
You know, because he didn't ask to be here. You know, he's here now, so you got to be the best dad you can be. And as a friend, I'd be a bad friend if I didn't hold you to a certain standard. You know, you can't be no friend of mine, be no deadbeat daddy. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Fuck out of here with that shit.
No,
you can't be, hey bro, let's go kicking. It's like, when you seen your son, man? When's the last time you went and saw your kid? Nah, I'm not going for that. So it's just crazy, and it's like, hey man. Like, I mean, mind you, he lives a little bit away from here, but it's that thing of like, I wish you the best. If you ever, you know, need to talk, you know my line. And it's just, you know, like, we're going to start having friends getting married.
Yeah.
You know, or both. And it's just like, man, we're really, lives are being made, you know?
It's crazy. Man, a lot of my friends have kids, but out of my very, very close circle, none of us have kids. I'm like, wow, that's a blessing. I mean, at this point,
well,
it's like
my main core circle of friends, none of us have kids yet, and we always joke like, who's gonna be the first one to have a kid? And it's nuts, man. Like, it does, but definitely changes things, right? Like those friends that do have kids, like you can tell.
And then and out of my very, very close circle, it's like, there was a time where like a few of them lived in other parts of the country, and now they're all back here except for one. But it's like I still maintain contact. I fucking make sure of it. Like I'm not I'm like grandma that gets everyone together for the holidays. Like that's how I feel. It's
that's
like
a beautiful
I'm not
thing, man.
I'm not losing this contact.
You serve as glue.
Yeah.
You keep the group together, and I mean, that's tricky, man. Like it is weird because sometimes you're like, man, am I being overbearing or like blah 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 blah, but people appreciate that.
Fuck them. Take my love.
Yeah, take my love, man. And that's how I'm at, where, you know, even when it comes to like romance and like like I'm at a place where, and it's ego. A lot of it's just ego, you know, and you're like pride. Where like I used to be really hesitant to tell someone I fucked with them, like romantically. And then I'm just like, what do I have to lose? Worst case scenario, you say you're not into it or you don't want to, and you bail out and you you know.
Do you mean like saying you really like them, or are you saying
Yeah.
like saying love? Like everyone's
Oh,
weird about the
I'm not
word
too-
love.
yeah, like that's where I feel like people throw that a little.
People throw
carelessly.
that way too
way
fucking
too
soon.
carelessly. That's a deep word, bro. And you know what I said? I told my friend this the other day, and I really mean this shit. I want respect over love.
Yeah.
I want your respect before I have your love, because you can love me and do some wild shit. You know, like this just totally disrespects me. But if you have respect for me and you truly respect me, I believe you'll think twice about the things you do. I really do, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people confuse that shit, where it's like, you know, you can love a lot of people, but if you respect me, you know, there's a certain kind of, I really believe that. And that's why I say I don't want people's love. I want people's respect. Because you can respect me and not love me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I don't know if you can love me and not respect me. You know? Think
Right.
about all the stuff, crazy shit people do in the name of love.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I did it because I love you. It's like, bro, you just like knocked her through the damn wall. Like, what?
It's
are
like
you
that saying.
talking
It's like, I
about?
don't think that means what you think it means.
Yeah, it doesn't. And like I said, it's a loaded word, man.
Yeah.
You know, love means a lot of different things to different people, and like love in its purest form, I don't know if I've seen it very often through other people. You know, like there's love is proof. It's a lot. But yeah, like I feel like to answer your question, it wasn't about the word love. It's more about just showcasing interest and creating opportunities for us to connect. Because it's like, hey, if I like you and I want to see where this goes, why wouldn't I do that? You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah,
It's just,
definitely.
I mean, there's like the saying that like a gift that's rejected, the only person that lost out on the gift was the person that declined it, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing as like a lot, but that, you know, you get the concept, like where I just like, you know, hey, if you don't want to be a part of what I got going on, that's on you.
Right.
And just leave it at that. You know, I used to dwell so bad. I was bad, man. I used to take that shit personal. I think, you know, you really do. Like rejections, no one likes being rejected.
Mm-hmm.
No one's like being like treated badly or ghosted, but it's like, fuck it. Life is too short. Like we talked about time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whether the way you treat your friends or your, you know, your partner or whatever, man, let's get to it. Let's reach out. Let's get together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody, like I don't know, like it's not, maybe it sounds really morbid, but like every day I wake up I think, dude, today I could die. Like I really have that mindset. Like I've had
It's a good mindset to have,
I've had a
honestly.
few near-death experiences, and it's just like to be so arrogant to think you just have all the time in the world. It's just ridiculous. It's part of the reason why I left again. I'm like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I want this experience. I want to check
You
it
gotta
off.
see some shit.
I gotta see some shit.
What kind of near-death experiences did you have?
Man, okay, so the first near-death experience, I got hit in the face with a flying machete.
What?
I know. Let me
What?
elaborate. I swear to God, bro. I got hit in the face with a flying machete, and
Well, you look great.
Thank you, man. I recovered really well. It didn't leave like a gash or anything. I got hit in the face with the handle.
Lucky.
It was like some Friday the 13th Jason shit. The machete was flying. Man, I know people are gonna be like, he's bullshitting. I cannot make
How
this
and
up.
where? Who threw it? What?
Long story short, the dude that did it is dead too. That's the craziest thing.
That's what they get for
really
crossing you. Isn't it?
Oh man, it's sad, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. He did pass away, but I was like 8, and I was in North Carolina.
You were 8?
I was like 8. I had to have been like 7 or 8. I
Got it.
wasn't that old. And I was in North Carolina, and we were outside, and the dude called himself cutting weeds down with the machete, because we were trying to clean out the like fence, because like all this kind of vegetation had taken over. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna cut all this stuff down. And it was me and my sister's baby daddy's son, and it was the two of us. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna cut this, and then I'm gonna have you guys collect the weeds and stuff and move it over to this barrel, right? Sounds simple enough. Well, he's hacking, right? And we're like off to the side talking, waiting for him to get the first load done. And I swear to God, I turned my head, and next thing I go, like as if he had like flung, like it went out of his hand, and he like just thrust it back behind him, and it went, and then ding, and like
Jesus.
smacked me right under the eye, the handle. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, oh, are you okay? And I had like this welt right under my eye. And I was like, holy, like, you know, I was a kid, so I didn't cuss, but I'm thinking, like, I just got hit in the face with a machete. And they literally said that if if that blade had been the fixed angle, I would have been dead. It would have went right through my head. I would have been like some fucking tragedy kid in the newspaper. Young boy gets impaled by a machete.
Jesus Christ.
Could you imagine, man? 8 years old, just out. Freak accident. Dude would have probably went to jail. I don't know how you would have got off with that one. They'd have been like, nah, this
Something
don't
would have had to
sound
happen.
right.
Like,
This don't sound right, bro. You just killed this kid.
yeah.
And I was the kid, and sure enough, and then like I had like this health scare shit where I had to get like a colonoscopy like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, they thought I had like cancer and shit, and you know, or like I was like fucking bloody stools and all this stuff. I was trying to go hard in the gym because I was finding like, man, I need to like bulk up, and I get myself hemorrhoids, man.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but they didn't know, so like I was super like, I was getting really sluggish, and like I just like had no energy, and like I was fucking shitting blood. And
Man, they're really that bad? Like
it was
like
bad,
hemorrhoids?
bro.
Like,
Like it was bad hemorrhoids. They were
so like
big.
I'm doing like squats or something? Or
I
you're
think
just, like,
so,
pushing
man.
too hard and shit?
And I haven't really been back to the gym since. That shit
You're
fucked
gonna ease
me
your way
up.
into it.
Yeah, man. I was going way too hard, like, you know, because I wanted them results, and I was on a damn army base or a military base when I started going to the gym because I was like with my sister-in-law. I was away. I was doing traveling, and
You gotta look impressive
yeah,
around
I'm
these
like,
army
man,
guys.
I'm looking around like all these fucking bulky ass dudes that are military guys, and I'm like, I gotta get in there. So I went hard, and then I was like this crazy like series of months where I was in and out of the hospital getting tests done, and then I got the colonoscopy, and then they confirmed it was just hemorrhoids, and I was fine.
Oof.
But it was like a
That'd be
lot of
nerve-wracking.
reflecting, man. Just like laying in bed waiting for tests to get done and blood work, IVs, and you know, needles in and out of my arms. And that shit really gave me a lot of perspective where I'm just like, dude, life is precious. And when you don't have your health, or you feel like your health isn't where it should be,
Oh, dude. That's one of the things people take for granted the most. Just being like
absolutely
not sick,
not sick,
able to move.
able to like get up
Without
and do
pain
what you
and
want
it's
without consulting, or thinking about someone who's like a paraplegic, you know, who doesn't have the gift of just getting up and making a sandwich, needs somebody to assist them with all these different aspects of their life. And it's just like, man. And some of those people are the most upbeat, grateful people on the planet. And it's just like, what the hell do the rest of us as a population, what are we not getting here? What are we getting wrong? And it's just like, nah, bro, I gotta be way more grateful for everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, we're, you know, complaining is, you know, we're human.
I mean, yeah, it's
We're
hard. It's
human.
hard, yeah.
Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, I've never complained about anything that was trivial, but shit, I mean, your life is your life, but some perspective goes a long way.
That's true. Did you say there was a third time near death?
No, I think that was probably the main two.
Yeah, it was
those
two-
are the
it
main
was
two
two
that
hemorrhoids
Really,
is
like
what it
I
was.
look back on and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that. You know, there's always like those crazy, you know what I mean? You're just being young and you like, why did we do that? Or like, why did we climb that thing? Or, you know, like stuff like that.
Or like, yeah, you think back of like crazy shit you did
yeah,
as a
like
teenager.
dude,
Like,
if I
wow,
would've
we
fell
really
off
made
of
it.
that, I would have died. Like,
Yeah.
like being on top of buildings and, you know, just doing dumb shit, you know? Which, mind you, for me is very minimal because I'm not a very adventurous type. Like I'm probably overly cautious to a point where I'm like lame for some people. Are like, oh man, like I know like my homie Anton, he's the one I went to LA with. I was probably like a buzzkill. He's like, dude, come on. I'm like, no, I'm good. I think we should just like not do that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just cautious, man. Like I just like, you just fucking don't know, like,
Why do you think that is? Why do you think you're like that?
because I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Just because like those near-death
I said, 'cause I
experiences
don't
had
wanna
like
die.
scared you, it gave you
Not
the
even
perspective.
That. I just feel like a lot of the shit that you see happens to people is lack of being observant.
Yeah.
You know, you get too careless and you're not paying attention to your surroundings, and then that's how bad shit happens. And it's sad you have to be that way. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how they like tell kids like the precautions or like steps to not get kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
No kid should have to worry about being kidnapped when they go outside. But it's the world around us, you know, and it's like there are real dangerous people out there. So it's better to be equipped with the right tools and know how to respond to a certain situation than not know.
Right.
You
Definitely.
know, what to do. What do you do if you get in that situation? Someone invites you in their car.
Oh man, there's so much shit you got to teach your kids that like
You
I
know?
just feel like there's so much you're gonna forget to teach them. It's
Yeah.
like fuck. Like,
Man, being a parent is like, I don't envy that shit. You know, I think it's easy to look on the outside and think like, you know, give a parent notes about what they're doing right and wrong, and then being an actual parent, you know, hell, a single parent at that for, man, that's not easy. Especially if you have multiple kids.
Oh my
Jeez.
God.
You got to keep track of all of them. Goodness gracious. You know what I mean?
Good luck.
Like you have three, four kids. You're like, where's Jimmy again? Oh, he's at so-and-so's house. Where's so? Oh, they're in their room. And the other one's at football practice. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, these are whole ass humans you're responsible for. And you think, you understand why some parents are so overly protective. I think it's a balance. It's like you got to equip your kid with the right tools and hope that they'll, at some point, it's like they got to make their own decisions. You just hope you've prepped them enough to succeed.
And that like goes back to like what we were saying about kids that are just like in a well-off family.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you teach them like struggle and that kind of shit? Like, and even they're like they live in a bubble. If they have like a nice life, it's like, how do you let them know that like there's like fucked up shit out there? I mean, you can tell them like how fucked up the world is, but like experience like dealing with like shady motherfuckers or being in situations that like in their little nice bubble life they wouldn't experience around you or whatever in the suburbs or something. It's like
they get additional protection.
So if they go out into the world, they just seem so vulnerable. Like someone's gonna take advantage of them, fuck them over.
Yeah.
Hopefully not kill them.
It's funny because when I was in LA, I swear I spoke to my mother more times in that time span than I think we speak regularly. Like every day she called me. But I can only imagine the mother, like the instinctive part of her as a mom was probably like really having a hard time keeping it together because
especially if it's your first time leaving.
I'm the baby and I'm thousands and thousands of miles away by myself. I mean,
in one of the craziest places
on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a mom, it's like confidently, she had to let me go. I mean, I'm a young adult. I made the call, but I know there was probably no part of her that was truly at ease until I was home, like until I was home here in town. Yeah.
I could only imagine. Like, especially like even when your kid's young, like first time, like, you're with them the whole time, raising them as a baby. And then it's like they eventually like go and like leave and not just school, but like go to like, I'm going to walk several blocks to go hang out. You going to what?
Yeah.
Walk unsupervised.
And it's like the slowly you're letting them venture off, man, and be their own person. And I think a lot of parents struggle with that. It's like realizing your kids aren't you. They're going to be their own people.
And that helicopter parenting is like a huge problem. It's like, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, it's like the saying is like, if a kid's going to do it, they're going to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're going to do something, they're going to do it. And it's going to come at a point when you least expect it, when you're not around and you don't have full control over them. And then it's going to happen. Whether that be drugs, whether that be sex, you know what I mean? Like, why don't we shift that culture around that, start having more transparent conversations with our kids, equip them with the stuff they need to know? Because it's like, like I said, I know it's not an easy conversation, but look, if I'm a dad, I'm like, look, I want you to at least know what the fuck to anticipate or what to keep an eye out for, because inevitably you are probably going to get introduced to some drugs. So here's what you need to do. You know what I mean? Or here's what you should expect. And look out for these, these are red flags or whatever.
Yeah.
So when I'm not around, I can be confident that at least I equipped them with the right information. And then from there, it's about your kid's character and what type of decisions they make.
Yeah. And some parents have a problem where they're living in a bubble. Like, oh, they would never do that.
Oh, denial.
No. Yeah. It's
the
like,
one, like they said, the daughter that gets pregnant. Oh, she doesn't have sex. And it's like, apparently she does. You know what I mean? Like with somebody, like,
yeah, because you didn't fucking teach her about it. You know?
Like, and it's like, man, some of these kids, they don't get educated about sex until they go to school. That's the first time they're even having a conversation about sex. And they're like, damn, like my mom and dad didn't talk to me about this. I don't know nothing about that. It's just like, quit babying these kids. You know what I mean? They're, like I said, you're talking about young. Yes, they're teenagers. They're technically still children, but then you keep playing around, you're going to have children having children.
Exactly. And that's like, you're weakening the species.
Yeah, at that point, it's something that could have been totally prevented, So, I mean, that's big, man. It's just like the dialogues you spark with the youth, in the household, that shit goes a long way.
I try and remember, like, if I had like a parental sex talk. I can't remember if I did or not.
Probably not, man.
Maybe something light.
Probably something very generic, very ambiguous.
And of course, when I got older, they would just say,
elaborate.
always wear a condom or that sort of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we had like some sex ed in elementary school, like fairly young.
Yeah.
They gave you some like
They gave us a little rundown.
They gave you like some simple shit in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
And then in
4th or
6th
5th.
grade, they had like the boys and girls together, and some lady came and talked to the class about this and that.
I remember that.
And then, you know, obviously more in like middle school or whatever. But I was trying to remember, like, I don't know if I ever had a real, like, not a very informative sex talk.
Nobody wants to have it. It's
But I did. I tell you what I did have. They gave me that drug talk. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they gave me. They're like, oh, look at this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Stay away from that fucking weed or something or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's some shit like that. But my parents weren't crazy, like super crazy or anything. But I was definitely lied to in certain ways.
Well, the crazy thing
now it's
too
like,
is,
it's
man,
legal.
like,
We all smoke.
I don't even smoke, man.
Yeah.
Like nicotine, don't even smoke.
Oh no. Fuck that.
No.
I won't touch that.
And it's crazy because like I think it also is in part of the way I grew up. Like I grew up in a household of people who smoked. So the smell just put me off, man.
I'm totally against nicotine and shit. And my parents didn't smoke. They smoked. My parents are really old.
Yeah.
They smoked younger when they were younger.
So
in life.
wait. So what are your parents? What are their ages?
They're senior citizens.
Fuck, bro. Like same kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
My dad's look. I swear to God, my dad came to an art exhibit I had at school. It was an after-school art exhibit I had, and everyone's like, "Oh, is that your grandpa?" And I'm like, "No, that's my father."
Yep.
Doesn't it shape you different? Don't you think that?
I used to get some of that shit.
Doesn't that like even just the conversation you have with your parents and the relationship you have with them, it's different, man.
You're getting a whole different life just
You're
because of
getting
the
a whole
stories they
different
can tell you
stories,
about
man.
their past, which is like
I
the
think
Stone
I
Ages.
don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know how you grew up, but I just feel like you grew up really fast.
Yeah.
Like you were a very sharp dude. Like, you know, how can you?
It seems like with you too. Like
you just had to grow up fast because the conversations were real. You know,
yeah, and they were different than what someone else like.
You know?
Some my best friends that are my age had like their parents. The age of their parents is like I could have been as old as your parents if my parents like fucked
exactly
earlier.
would have got to it earlier.
Yeah.
I could have been so much older than some of my peers. And I think about that where it's like,
Maybe does that mean we're like old souls? Maybe that has.
dude, I think it is, man. I think that's
you're
why
raised
I don't
with
trip.
that. You're raised with old people.
Because my
like,
dad and I didn't play catch. My dad was too old to play catch with me. We read books. That's what me and my dad did. That was his thing for me. He gave me books and movies. Part of probably what really like triggered my love for film was my dad. And he gave me all these VHSs as a kid. And he was just like, hey, let's just sit. Like, my knees are bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It was a different kind of thing. Like, I wasn't forced into sports. I was, you know, I started honing my more, you know, expressive skills, you know?
it's crazy.
And my mom,
like,
you know, like my mom, like I said, like, I think they were just a little more lax by the time I came around because they already had the kids, you know, young and all that shit, man. And it's crazy that you say that.
I'm very thankful that my parents weren't kids. Like when I
Yeah.
was born, you know, it's like God.
You get a different perspective. I think, yeah, like
You understand like a bit more about life in the sense of like recent, like how it was for them when they grew up. You know,
it gives a lot of compare and contrast. They can tell you a lot about how different things were, and that's something that I even find myself going. With the age my parents are, I feel like I should be asking more about how they grew up. That's something that I'm trying to hold myself more accountable to because I realize like our elders are our stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have certain stories that no one else could share. You know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
deep.
and thinking about how old our parents are, it brings me back to what I was thinking of earlier when we were talking about like the birth of the internet and everything and how technology is advancing so much faster now. And it was even advancing fast in the 19th century, like
Right.
through the, 20th century, the 1900s and shit. From like 1900, you got same old shit basically. You had like the Industrial Revolution, like the 1800s. So there's that, but basically, it's still very like primitive in like 1900 compared to like 1950 is like way more advanced than 1900. I would think.
It's crazy to think that we're going to get to a point where everything we have is laughable.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's cute.
The thing that
You know?
that I think of the most is like, because I think our generation is like the craziest generation, because we got to experience we knew basically what it was like before or right around the beginning of the dawn of the internet era and that kind of shit. And we've seen it grow into what it is now, and who knows what the fuck it's going to become. But dude, I think, I remember like, not really there wasn't really computers or cell phones when I was really young. And then, as I, got older, like 10 and older, then it came around more frequently, like I remember before we had internet, and just saying that to anyone young is like, what are you talking about?
Right.
It's like, so I feel like, it's one thing to think of how old my parents are and like their experiences, but then another thing that freaks me out is like, by the time we get older, I think anything before the year 2000 is going to be looked at as like the olden times, the dark age, like some shit. It's like,
well, it was brought to my attention that my nephew has never interacted with a VHS. And I was kind of like, oh shit.
In my house, that's all we had. We didn't even have DVDs.
Like even in our era, it was dying technology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By the time we got to be teenagers, VHS was out. Like,
well, I remember for a while, it's like now available on VHS and DVD.
There was
like
that there was one little window where they were like, you can get the VHS. Remember they did like the dual machines where it was a VHS player and a DVD
I still got
combo.
that shit. I need it.
Yeah.
I got a lot of my classic shit still.
I see you got a VHS collection, man. My mom made me throw mine away. She's like, oh my gosh, get rid of that dated technology. She was not having it. And I'm like,
honestly, I don't know if I'm a hipster or something, but you know how some people are about like, oh, I love vinyl, the way it sounds. I'm like that about VHS.
Yeah.
I like watching the old previews.
Cassettes, man.
And like the old shit on there that you might see, like, oh, look at these.
And you can't skip. Well, I mean, you can fast forward it, but like, it's pretty cool. I mean, I got so bad, man. I was such a VHS obsessive. I would like, you know how like you play it so many times, you like the damn the film would start coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did that to a couple of movies, man. They would just play the rewind. Like I just drove it into the ground. And I had a really nice VHS collection. Remember the Nickelodeon ones were orange? They had the orange cassette, the VHSs.
Oh man.
Yeah, man, special time.
And then like the VHS is like, it's fragile in the sense like, the tape can come undone and shit. And like, even if I think you don't have it like in the appropriate, like if it's not like in nice room temperature, it can get fucked up. Mine had to sit in the garage for a while. And I don't know if that played a part in, or if they're just because they're old. It's like you're watching them and like there's like static come up, or like the glitch in the audio and shit. Like, yeah,
it's
very
so
physical. Like
then it was weird because, like, I remember when I just stopped seeing them. Like you just go in the store and you're like, damn, I haven't seen any VHSs. Like they just got phased
I read
out.
that the last, like big movie, like blockbuster type film that they produced VHSs all the way until like 2006.
Okay.
Was like the last
That
one. I
sounds
knew.
about right.
I have some VHSs from like 04, maybe 05, and I was like, yeah, that was like it. We're done. But as a kid, like in my house, I have vivid memories way before DVDs were, very, were bought or anything. Like all we had in my house was cassettes and VHS tapes and shit. We had CDs and shit, but my mom had a lot of cassettes and shit, but there was no DVDs. Like I remember when we started to get DVDs, and then
man, remember when we had to use like I don't know if you ever had one, but I had the portable CD player.
Yep.
Where it's like the big old tray.
Oh yeah.
Pop it open, put your disc in, close it, put it in my jacket, put the headphones in. I'm cruising. Man, look, kids would lose their minds if you told them that's how we used to get around.
And that shit would skip. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it would skip, and you have to blow it off, or like. Because obviously you're talking about an actual release, so you have to pretty much curate your own playlist. If you're burning CDs, like I was the type where I'm like, oh hell no, I'm making my own CDs. So I would like take a bunch of my favorite joints, label the CD so I remember which one it was, and then that'd be like my playlist.
Right. I remember for me, like in the early days of me driving, like I just had the cars just had cassette players, and what we'd have, is the adapter that hooks into the fucking your Walkman CD player that goes into the cassette player with the cord, and that shit's like sitting in the center of the floor in my car and shit. It's like I literally had to have like a fucking like portable Walkman thing in my car.
Yeah.
Because you have these old cars and shit. It's like, goddamn. And now cars don't even have. They don't even have aux cords anymore.
Dude, yeah.
That came and gone. That already came and gone, dude. That's what I'm saying. Is technology's moving so fast.
Yeah,
it's like,
so like every day at work, I always probably hear it.
Yeah, you probably know a lot because you're around
every day
technology.
at work. Yeah, I usually hear at least once. They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like. You know, I always have that older person who's like, I just want you to know I'm not very tech savvy. I'm pretty stupid when it comes to this stuff. And I'm like, sir, with all due respect, it's changing so fast that it's hard to keep up with. Like, if you're not in that world and you're not privy to the new things they're doing, you will get confused. I mean, I had people that were like shocked when they realized iPhones did away with the aux cord altogether. Remember the aux port? Mm-hmm. Can't even get it on. I'm one of the last oldies, man.
Yeah.
I have the 6 still, so I still have access to an aux, which was in part why I got it. But yeah, it's just it's just that lightning port. The MacBook I have doesn't even have USB ports. Doesn't even have standard USBs. Swear to God, they literally, they literally on the new MacBooks. I think as of last year's generation, they did away with the USB ports altogether. All they have are these little kind of like curved. They actually look a lot like a USB.
Is it the what's the term?
USB-C. It's USB-C.
It is USB-C?
It's a USB-C.
Oh, okay.
But it looks a lot like the Lightning port. But imagine
the Lightning port.
But on the side of the laptop, no USB. If you want to use a USB like a flash drive or your anything, you literally have to use their dongle, which is an additional accessory you can get for $20. Plug that into the MacBook, and then it has a USB entry, and you put the flash drive into that.
But is USB-C on the thing?
USB-C, so it's
How
USB,
many do they have?
It's like, mine has like 2.
Okay.
Because I have the 13-inch. The 15-inch, I believe, has 4.
Yeah, mine just has 2 USBs. Mine's old. I couldn't even have this podcast right now without the USB, and shit.
You would have to get the dongle.
We're running Pro Tools and shit. The Pro Tools, key is the fucking USB.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck?
It's crazy, man.
I already feel like, I'm like pushing 30 soon. And it's like, I feel like I'm over the hill already.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so crazy, man.
Goddamn.
It's rapid changing, but like I said, it's not going anywhere. And I think it's once we really get a grasp on it, it can make a lot of lives better.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it'll be great. It'll be fine. Once we
gotta
iron
work out
these
kinks.
bumps.
Yeah, we got to work out the kinks.
Like the kinks of how we communicate online
or
and
even
all this,
like
how we
you see
interact.
the stuff what Elon's talking about, like where they're messing around with the AI stuff,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, I tried to tell him. Yep. And you could tell that tone, like the atmosphere of that interview changed when he got an AI.
He's one of the ones who's worried about it.
Yeah, he's really worried. And it's going to happen, man.
Some people aren't worried. A lot of people are. So
if Elon's worried, I'm worried.
Right.
I'll listen to that guy.
We should listen to Elon, probably. Let him do what he wants to do.
Well, it's just that thing. It's like we're meddling with shit. And it's going to come down and we're just going to do it because we can.
Things are going to happen so fast that, like, we won't be ready for it as a species. Like, we don't know how to communicate, like, online. Like, we can't handle the technology already. That's why
we're having troubles with man. Imagine if we create something that's like, oh, you guys suck. Like, I'm not listening to anything you have to say. Sentient life, man, that's some crazy shit. And people think it's so out of the ordinary, but it's like they already said. I mean, the saying is, whatever we get access to is usually 10 years old. Mm-hmm. It's usually about 10 years old anyway. The people that are making the shit, because obviously they have to go through regulations and patents and all that before they can make it a commercial product. Like, man, they're doing all sorts of crazy shit in the laboratories. That's just the truth. It's innovation.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, it's like if I have kids someday, it's like by the time they get a little bit older to where I can talk to them, it's like, who knows what year that's going to be.
Right.
And it'll be even crazier by then. And it's like, I couldn't even imagine trying to explain to them, like, my childhood, like, oh, yeah, cassette, a VHS, or anything. Like, yeah, no internet. Do you even know what the fuck that would be like? Like, trying to explain to my kids, let alone grandkids, like, they will, like, if I have grandkids someday, they will look at people our age, like, that remember the 90s and shit. It's like, you're literally a caveman. Like literally fucking that world.
You've got
like
you've got fossils as far as they're concerned, man.
Exactly. It's like they wouldn't even give me the time of day. It's like, fucking shut up, Grandpa. You fucking like
beep, beep, beep.
older
Like,
than
let me
shit.
play with my hologram, Dad.
It's like
even the VR shit. You see, that's like that
Yeah.
industry's. They're trying to make that pick up.
Man,
I love how we've like just been bouncing around. We haven't even talked about music. It's so nice, man.
it's been great.
This is so dope, and I'm really glad because like, I don't think I'm always the most revealing about other shit about me. So it's cool to just like talk about shit.
Hell
you know,
yeah,
like
hell yeah.
I hope, because I'm sure I'll have a few of my friends or fans or whatever you want to call them who are gonna tune in this, and I hope they just enjoy just the fact that we're just talking.
Yeah, well,
This
it's
is really
crazy.
cool.
Podcasting, even like, you know, like 10 years ago, it wasn't shit.
Yeah,
5 years ago, it wasn't much. I mean, well, you know,
it's really taken off, man.
Joe Rogan's had his thing going on for a long
like,
time.
you
So
think
5 years
about
ago,
it.
he was still really
The
popular.
podcast is like a really interesting lane, and I think in part of it, it's just to do with the fact that people. It feels like you're talking with a friend. If you really like the people who are conversating, it feels like you're hearing a conversation amongst friends.
Dude, I love
you know?
it. Going back to having that really close circle of very
Yeah.
close friends, like I always loved the fact that throughout the years, each one of those friends, I've had multiple like hours long conversations with them. And it's been so meaningful to like our
Yeah.
growth together and our
Absolutely.
relationship, just talking about life, philosophy,
And
whatever
I bet
the
you
fuck.
I bet you did them in person too.
Huh?
Bet you did them
Oh,
in person.
right,
of
right.
course.
Of course. You have to.
Have to.
But the thing is with podcasting, why I love doing it is I was like, I always realized like those were great times with friends, just communicating for hours about deep subjects,
Yeah.
just really connecting. And I feel like now I can do that with like strangers.
Yeah.
I mean, we've met before, but I've had people on where it's like, this is the first time
No,
meeting
like-
them. And now we're getting into some deep, long
Yeah.
conversation. And it's great.
It's
We
a
feel like
great
we're
way to-
connecting.
yeah,
and
just- and that's how, and that like as we were talking about connection, bro. That's how it's supposed to be. Like you should just be able to go with someone. Like obviously, yeah, we've met and we've known each other, but we've never been able to talk in length like this.
And it's very-
it's
it's
dope.
like-
and it
it's
feels
like healthy.
organic.
It's the-
like, I would
it's
say
therapeutic.
and a testament to a great, because I mean I consider you like an interviewer slash host. Like when I forget that the microphone's even here and we're being recorded, like I'm like, oh shit, I'm just talking with a friend. Like
Yeah.
I just love like having a conversation, man. That's a testament to what you've created here.
Yeah.
Like even I know you had Brian and Scrim, or Avery, and he was like, bro, you should really go on the show. Like it's awesome. Like you'll just topics just fly, and and I got to watch a snippet of the episode, and I was like,
Hell
oh,
yeah.
I need to watch the full thing. But yeah, this is dope, man.
Yeah. That makes me feel good. I'm glad people
Yeah,
are digging
man.
it. Because, we started out, I was like, and I still joke now. I'm like, no one's listening.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Well, let me ask, like, to kind of flip it, how did this come to be? Like, what was the inspiration behind it?
Okay, so, try and make a long story short.
Yeah.
Well,
Shit.
because you know Mill City Mob,
Yeah.
then we came up with this idea of MOB, which
Yeah.
is, what we got going on here, Minds Obliterating Boundaries.
Yeah.
Jacob, as you may know, poor Bill,
Yeah.
our
poor
boy,
Bill.
he, what is it? It's an acronym when it's like each letter is like a word.
Yeah.
It stands for Mill. He wrote something out, Mill City Mob. He had
Mm-hmm.
something written out for it, and the MOB part was like, Minds Obliterating Boundaries.
Okay.
And we've been releasing. Well, we've been doing our thing as Mill City Mob for a couple years at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Come like 2014 is when I got the idea of like, and everybody does this now. Anyone who's like a creator, it's like you make your own like platform, your own label, brand, studio, and that became like, okay, we're gonna have this thing, MOB, Minds Obliterating Boundaries. That became like our label in a sense. We would release our music on, our videos on. We would set up live shows,
Yeah.
shit like that, and then. So we have this platform now, MOB, and then we've always wanted to do more, all the kinds of creative shit that we want with it, and so we started having like a vlog called MOBCAST. Started as a vlog. It was like, some behind the scenes shit or whatever. It started like the first one was like a live house show. I made a funny video of that,
Right.
and then some other like vlog type shit. And then for a while, I was like, I really want to get into doing like some podcasts or something.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen until like 2017, like a couple years ago.
Oh, so this is something that's been
a while.
Wow,
Like the
yeah.
name, the idea of MOBCAST started like 5 years ago, and then it wasn't until like 2 years ago we finally like did some actual podcasts versions of it, which is what I've been wanting to do. And that was very like few and far between. It was like me and Jacob just spitting shit and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then also because when we came into this location, we had our shit set up in the garage and shit. And then we couldn't do shit when it got super hot in the summer or super cold in the winter. So
you had to get that right.
We get our shit going, when we could. And then so very few and far between. Then I started getting guests on. Probably, last year, I'm guessing. Because, the first ones in, like, 2017 were just me and Jacob bullshitting. Yeah. And then finally started to get guests on. And then as of this year, we finally got everything rearranged with our space to where everything's, like, moved inside and shit and real nice. We've been able to crank it out now and keep it current. So we've been releasing a lot of them. So we're getting up there now. Nice. And so once we started doing more of them, like, once I was, like started to get over 5 podcasts in, I was like, I gotta like separate this shit from like the vlogs from like the actual podcast, MOBCAST name. So we took our like vlogs and we do that now as like a segment called Mob Vision. Okay. We still release like vlogs or like funny skit videos. We'll just be bullshit and like kind of like almost improv, kind of like funny shit, just bullshit videos, just for fun. And then now MOBCAST is strictly just the podcast shit. So I guess that's it.
That's dope, man. Yeah. And it's cool because, like you said, I mean, it was something that clearly was a seed that was planted, and then it organically happens. And look at you now, man. And I mean, it's and crazy. Just even over text when we were kind of figuring out how to coordinate, it just shows that you clearly have like gotten it down to a discipline, at least it seems, because like you're like, look, Thursdays are my days to do recordings. Like you embed it into your routine. So that's awesome, man.
And then I definitely try and bend if a guest can't make a Thursday. Obviously we'll work some shit out.
Sometimes there's conflicts, but I mean, like today, like it's Wednesday or what today is? Wednesday,
Wednesday. I was
Gosh,
like, it's not Thursday.
It's not Thursday, but it was because 4th of July is tomorrow, so you're like,
I didn't even plan to do one this week. Yeah, and then you got back to me. I was like, shit, let's get in.
I appreciate it, because I remember you texted me. I was like, oh, shit, that'd be cool. Like,
I remember when you went to LA, I was like, fuck. Yeah. I wish I could have got him on.
Yeah, even Brian said you guys brought it up, where you're like, oh, Ahzia's back? And they were like,
I didn't know. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So that was a nice, I'm sure, surprise for you. Yeah,
I was stoked.
So I'm like, thank you, man. Like, it's dope.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think that fucking, what was it again? Anagram? No, not anagram. Whatever the fuck I said it was, where each letter is like a word. Yeah. For like Mill City Mob. Acronym. I always get those two confused because I'm a fucking idiot. I remember what it was. Jacob wrote something that was like, more intellect and less limits creates infinite toil. We are young minds obliterating boundaries. So I guess that's it, folks. You heard it here first.
Damn, that's lengthy.
More intellect, less limits. Less limits. Yeah. I took that. That was like our second EP. I was like, well, less limits. Less limits. We'll do it. And then MOB just became a thing now, I guess.
Yeah, it became its own little brand, man.
Yeah, so I hope people are digging it. Seems like they
are. I want to promote the fuck out of this, man. I want people to be privy to it. And like I said, now that I know you have this catalog and all these archived videos, man, now it's got some stuff for me to chew on.
Yeah, and the other thing, coming soon, hopefully soon, whenever I get my shit together, I want to start releasing like MOBCAST highlights, little snippet videos here and there. So that'd be also
an opportunity to like,
and that's like more easily digestible for people, just like little snippets here. I got to get that going. We're already like well into 30 plus episodes now. It's gonna take me. I got to get my shit together.
Yeah, man, it's that's a beautiful thing, man. You got all this archived footage now, like you can just like, oh wait, I forgot about this interview or this topic that I had with this so and so person. And it's just it's dope, man. Just keep building it up, man.
Yeah, and then all the other shit, of course, music, videos, art shit. There's so much more to it too. Like
it's a brand. Yeah, it's a multimedia hub.
It's me and Jacob, and then our buddy Tyler, who's also, I do shit with him through MOB. He's one of the best artists in the QC, period. He's like crazy. He's like a fine artist because he can do any medium, different styles. Legit. He's like, I call myself an artist. Like, I draw and shit, but I'm not anywhere near like whatever the fuck he is. Like I'm consider myself like maybe a cartoonist, designer, graphic design, other things like that. You know, me and him animate a bit, but it's like he's beyond.
Like,
he's got real skill. He's always had real skill, and so I'm really stoked that me and him are doing shit together. Because even when we were younger, as like kids, when we first met, I was like, man, I wish I could like work with him somehow. And like now it's like, fuck.
Yeah,
15 years later or something. Man.
It's never too late, right?
Right.
That's dope.
Man, so things keep flourishing. This snowballing. Hopefully, we'll see where it all leads.
Keep it going, man. This inspires me, man. Seriously.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I love making the music and stuff, and you know that I think that was essentially how we met. Was what was it? New Groove? I'm pretty sure.
No. We played. Well, I knew of you or something, but I think we first. I don't even know if we talked much, but we played that show together. It was that 100 series show.
Was it? Was that the first show we met?
I don't know if we met or not, but I remember that was the first show we played together, because I never played New Groove.
You're absolutely right. It was the supper club that we met at. And then you guys ended up doing a show over at Ross Talks, because I remember seeing, or
Jacob
Poor Bill. Yeah, Poor Bill did.
Yeah, and I'm always rocking with him.
Yeah,
so
and that's your boy, you know, come support. That's the crew. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, because I remember coming up. I specifically remember Jacob coming up to me and saying something like, dude, you're dope as shit. Like, I fuck with you. Like, and I was like, yo, thank you, man. Like, I fuck with you guys too. And he like exchanged like a CD and stuff. And he's like, yo, we should definitely like all keep in touch. And I was like, bet. And then, you know, it kind of all just led to here.
Yeah, most definitely.
But it's a good time, man. I appreciate the love, man. It's always, I think that's something that I'm very big on, even with the shows, like, community, man. There's a lot of awesome people and a lot of awesome minds right in our play. This is our playground of sorts, right? And it's about just communicating, reaching out, and you know, I think there's a lot of dope stuff that's gonna happen. You know, and I understand that, you know, as a place, as a market, you know, we're not LA, we're not Chicago, but we don't have to be. I've said that 1,000 times to myself, because it's something beautiful here, man. And the reality is, people love great experiences, you know, and we can provide that. Yeah. You know, and expand, you know, like I said, that's a beautiful thing with the internet, is, you know, you can reach anybody.
Yeah, and like you said, we're not like in LA or anything, but it's like I think we're starting to become something.
Yeah,
like,
I feel it. And it's crazy too. It's like people forget, like, Chicago's only like 2 hours.
And the train's coming in, you know, the train station.
Man, they've been talking about that train forever, and I hope they do it.
They finally got the money,
did they really?
They finally got permission to get the money or something.
That'd be amazing. Can you imagine a speed train from here to Chicago?
I remember when I was really little, I took a train to Chicago, and it wasn't that fast. I'm sure. I don't know how fast it's supposed to be, but
I think
you had to go to Galesburg or wherever to take the train.
Galesburg one. Well, from my understanding, it's supposed to be a speed train.
That's great.
Where it's like zippity, and
is it faster than a car, or as fast?
It's supposed to be like a bullet train, I think. It's supposed to be like a legit, like, shave it down to like, man, I don't know, I might just be saying shit. I could have sworn,
because the plane flight's like a good half hour, real quick.
Like, it's supposed to be a quick ride, to the point like people will start, what they think is gonna happen is you're gonna have a lot of people that are Chicago natives or live in Chicago who are gonna start moving to the QC and then just commute there for work. That efficient.
Do you think it's going to be like, what is the drive? Is it 2 or it's like,
it's about 2.5.
Yeah, I was going to say it can be close to 3 if you got like your pit stops and shit.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. If they could cut it down to like an hour and a half, even, that'd be not that bad.
That'd be better. Shit, I'd be in Chicago all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I got family up there, so fucking.
And inevitably, I feel like that's where I'm headed. I feel like I'm just kind of sorting stuff out here, but I could see myself living in Chicago, or, you know, it's happy medium. It keeps me in the Midwest.
Or with the train and whatever. You might just have a base here.
Yeah, be able to like slide between the two, and that's big, man. It's just about reaching out and exploring, and, you know, not kind of confining myself to one area.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like everyone's like, oh, like, damn, man, like, where you been? And I'm just like, I was really just trying to get my shit together. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like finally, now that I've been back a few months, like, I finally feel like I've kind of like, the dust has settled a little bit.
Yeah.
I've really got some structure back in place.
Right.
Now it's time to get back into this music, man. I'm really excited, but I feel like I don't need to rush it, you know?
Yeah. I was just listening to something some people were talking about, like, yeah, you don't have to rush it, really. It's like people get caught up in like we're trying to pursue these goals and shit while we're young and as we're getting older, and then you get to the end of life and you're like, old people, you know, it's like, wait, we're just gonna die. So it's like,
what's the rush?
What's the rush?
Well,
what's even
you're
the point
absolutely right.
sometimes?
That's part of what happens is, you know, we're in that young space where we create these weird deadlines where
we got to make shit
we have to make
now.
this happen by this said time, and that's ridiculous. There's so many variables to being an artist, and it's like, dude, you know, first of all, you can rush. What's the point of making a bunch of mediocre crap when you could take your time and make something exceptional?
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. That's the way to go if you ask me.
Quality over quantity. Just because you crank out something annually doesn't mean it's good. You know, and I'm at the point where, like, I'm very blessed to say my last project really, you know, did it for people, and I got a lot of really supportive people in my corner, and I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice if I don't do this next thing right. Like, you know, obviously, I mean, there's always going to be opinions, and everyone won't love it, but I got to be happy with it. I got to love it, you know? I feel like I've afforded myself some time, so now I'm like, I'm not worried about dropping another project till 2020, truthfully.
Right. Yeah.
And it sounds so far away, but it's not. We're already halfway through the year, just like that.
I think most people don't even know I do music. Or the people that do know think we don't anymore. And it's like, you don't understand. Everything's been cooking. Like, and I'll focus my time onto what needs time or whatever. I'll grow the MOB and you're just go back to my other shit.
And what's become evident just sitting here with you is that you're way bigger than just a rapper. That's one of your many hats.
You know, I think a lot of the guests I have on that are musicians themselves. They don't even know that I like do that.
Oh, really?
I think a lot of people now know, like, oh, he's a podcast
guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Come to find out, oh shit, this guy's his own catalog of music and everything.
Just because we've been cranking them out lately, the podcast, but you know, it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all
man.
good. Because
and that says a lot about you, man. Because sometimes it's so easy to lead with your credentials, where you're like, oh, I do this, and this, and it's just like, let just shit happen organically, like. You know, that's why I love that this conversation hasn't even been music centric, because it's like, you know, the music's the music. Like, get to know who I am a little bit, because I feel like so many of the people that I've become fans of, it's because I got context about who they are and how they think, watching interviews and podcasts and stuff. So it's just cool to just, like I said, man, like you just grow through conversation with people. And it's like stuff like this where I'm like, I didn't want to Skype you. I didn't want to text. I wanted to sit down and actually shoot the shit, because it's like, this is dope.
Yeah. And it's important to do that way.
So
sit
important,
down,
you know, because now we've shared an experience. It's like, oh man, remember that time we did that thing, and we have it, you know. And like I said, I mean, shit, I don't know if you do get like return podcast people.
We will be doing that.
Oh, cool. Well, like, next time if Jacob's free, like, shit, we can do all three of us. That'd be cool. That adds a whole nother element to it.
Of course.
You know, that's a whole nother mind in the mix, you know?
I always think, I'm like, how many episodes do I need to do before I do repeat episodes?
Yeah.
Like, how long since they've been on should they be back? You know, but it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know,
I mean, shit,
it totally doesn't matter.
It seems
but
like, I mean,
there's so many like dope people in the QC. It's like I'm trying to just get all these dope people on.
In
you know,
there,
it's
man.
like shit.
I'm happy with this. Like,
Hell yeah.
I'm super hype.
Yeah.
Rained his ass off too during the, like, you notice how it's just like going.
Yeah, dude. Maybe get some nice ambient noise in the background.
I think they're supposed to have the fireworks.
I was gonna say, like,
out.
Well, some places are doing it on the 3rd. Some are doing it on the 4th.
Tomorrow,
so.
yeah. But I know some of them do them today.
I thought we might have some more. We were gonna get this nice ambient rain in the background here. I thought we might have some more explosions in the background.
Like, that's dope, man.
Hell yeah. But yeah, man. I don't know. It's fun. Everything I do is fun, and I think I'm crazy because like I can't do just music.
Oh,
I can't do just podcasts. I will go fucking crazy.
No, like I don't have a fixed mind, man. Like I have to keep myself interested with multiple things, and I mean, sure, maybe it's to my detriment, I don't know, but I love doing different things, and whenever I get bored of one, you just switch gears. I'm like, all right, well, let's sit down, like, and I'll take a break on that thing and do something else.
Right, man. But we could get back into it as far as the music side of yourself.
Yeah, dude, let's, I mean,
because we started.
Yeah.
What was because you said you started doing art and writing.
Yeah.
When you were pretty young. How young did you say? Like,
dude, I was probably doing it like it's hard to pinpoint, but
Mm-hmm.
at least once I could actually like talk, I was doing art. Like once I like registered with artists, so I was
As you said, as a little kid, you always got to have your
I was an artist in
Crayola.
Pampers, man.
Right.
You know, like,
And you kept it going. Like
yeah,
you said,
like,
a lot of people just don't.
stop and it fizzles out. Like a lot of people are still like, man, you're still making art, huh? And I'm like, yeah, like this is my life, man. Like, this isn't just some phase. Like I do this, you know, maybe not to the degree I always want to, but I certainly am always creating something or have, you know, the ideas are going. But yeah, that's basically how it started, was, you know, just drawing and writing, you know, and once that kind of picked up and I really got into that, I was doing it through school.
Mm-hmm.
Then theater kind of found me the tail end of high school. And shortly after that, I guess the way it all started for me to be a rapper was I was in choir class. So it was part of the requirement for me, because I guess it wasn't mandatory, but I did take the class. I was in show choir, if you know what that is, where it's like the singing and dancing.
Is that like Glee or something like that show or whatever? I don't even know if I've seen that.
That's crazy. I guess kind of. It's
like show tunes?
Imagine, show tunes. Like imagine like a Broadway musical-ish presentation, but it's a competitive thing. So it's like a group of boys and girls from a respective school go up on stage and they do like a series of songs, you know, and then they do a ballad, which is the slower song. It's more vocal heavy, but it's a lot of choreography and stuff. And then there's judges who like rank the teams, and whoever's the best gets first place and, you know, second, third, and so on. And one of the classes that my music teacher at the time really, I guess, encouraged us to do was choir, because he just felt it would improve our vocals and, you know, give us more time to bond as a group. And we started doing rap battles in the back of the class. There was a group of boys, and killing time near the end of the school year, we're like, man, we don't have nothing to do. Let's rap battle. And it got to the point where it was a particular rap battle to my homie Jose. Shout out, buddy. And I baked his ass, really. I mean, I guess it's the same way.
Sorry, Jose, but
yeah, buddy.
It's truth.
Hey, man, I'm appreciative of that guy, because, I mean, who knows? If that video hadn't come out, I don't know if I'd be in the same place, but long story short.
Was that your first, like, intro into rapping?
Well, like, I always appreciated rap, but I wasn't doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I was a fan of the medium. You know, I've been listening to stuff since I was a kid.
Right.
But it was the first time we really started putting bars together, and I feel like the reason I like rap, or at least I gravitated to it, was because it really just felt like writing. You know, it's just writing again. Like, I was like, oh, I like words, and like trying to figure out how they put them together to say something significant, or try to.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the video kind of picked up, and people were like, yo, you should drop a mixtape. Like, this was really entertaining. And I was like, bet. You know what I mean? I was like, I kind of took it as a personal challenge. I'm like, you guys don't think I could really do this? Or maybe I was just more of like trying to like, had a chip on my shoulder and was like trying to prove to myself I could do it. And I dropped my first EP like maybe about 4 or 5 months after I graduated high school, and it was called Abstract. And that was kind of where everything took off.
So what year was that?
That was 2015.
Damn.
Yeah, 2015. Like the October 6th, I'll never forget it. I dropped my first EP, and then from there I just got the bug. I was like, oh, I like doing this. So I did another EP like that following March, and then I did another EP that December, and then I did an album the July of the year after that. So I've been averaging at least a project a year. This is the first year, if I don't drop my project, which I'm not, that I wouldn't have dropped anything. Because last year I did Ready, Set, Go, which you heard some of the joints from that.
Oh, yeah.
And that really, I think, put me in a different space. I feel like it was one of the first projects I truly felt like I found myself. So post four projects, it's like, okay, 5. Gosh, it is 5. 5 projects.
Yeah, I've seen that. The last one you did, Ready, Set, Go, it was really well received by a lot of local people.
A lot of people really, and I think that might have been in part to me being more visible and being more involved from a community level. So there's more opportunity for people to see my work and form opinions on who I am. So it was kind of like, in part, me just being out there, I think, but also that project, I think, was a nice addition to my catalog. And now I've just been like, you know, in LA I was writing on the beach and like trying to just find inspiration, man.
Right.
And I'm kind of trying to like digest that whole experience and figure out what I want to say. And I feel like now I'm in that place where I'm really getting the bug again after doing some shows. Like I got reacquainted.
Yep.
I got reacquainted with it, and I was like, oh, I like this and I do this shit.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, man, if I could get something out early, maybe Q1 of next year, that's doable. That gives me enough time to really flesh it out. And I want to make sure I put collabs on it, like, because all my previous work was very much me. It was just me by myself. And I'm like, I have too many awesome artists that are within close proximity to not start, you know, even if it's not on my stuff, feature on other people's work. So
right.
that's pretty big for me right now. And like I said, I just want to do it right. So
Oh yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. And it's something cool about like 2020 as a number that I'm really hyped about.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably partly waiting on that too.
Yeah, it's the roaring 20s.
Yeah, man, it's this is the last teen year we will ever experience.
And then after the 20s, then we can start referring to the past. Oh yeah, back
The
in 23.
20s, yeah.
You can't say, oh yeah, back in 15. It sounds weird to me. to
Yeah.
say. I don't know.
Even now, like referring to the 2000s, like what do you call them? The early 2000s, mid 2010s. The 2000s
this
and the
is the 10s,
2010s,
and then
yeah. So
the
like back in the
2000s, like, yeah.
2010s, it's so weird saying it that way.
Yeah, I
but
know. It's back in the back in the 10s.
2000s,
It's like, yeah.
back in the
Oh yeah, you don't
2010s.
even know back in the 20s.
we were on the tail end of an entire number change,
Yeah.
man. 1999 to the 2000s. We're in a whole.
It's weird to
nother
think
era.
that some people live their lives and don't see a new millennium.
We won't.
We
Well,
might.
we did, but
I'm gonna live till I'm fucking 110.
you know what?
Dude.
I can't even speak because there ain't no telling what crazy shit they're gonna have by the time we're elders.
You know,
Probably
they're trying to like
Transfer
stop
people's-
aging.
Well, they're trying to fucking like transport people's consciousness to other beings. I'm like, oh, you guys are going nuts. Nobody wants to die. I mean, it's crazy. Like, if I didn't have to die, I mean, I probably would stick around another 100 years just to see what the fuck happens.
I would stick around for a while, but then there's gonna be a point where it's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
all
just
right, unplug
I'm
me.
done. Yeah, unplug me. Like, shit.
I'll be down
that'd
to
be kinda
hang out for a while, 'cause
Like,
it's gonna get
you know,
weird.
You never know. Shit. I mean, ain't no telling. Man, plug me up to a fucking USB somewhere, bloop bloop, and just plug me in. Yeah.
Then the next upgrade comes around. It's USB-C now. I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah. I'm
Forget
off
it.
this. I'm good, man. I've had a good go. You can put me in the trash folder. I'm ready to get out of here. It's crazy, man. But yeah, I really feel like that's where we're headed, and it's so weird. Just like I said, time. You know, even now, it's just like, damn, where does like in the moment, it always feels like it goes by slow, but when you look back on it, it's, jeez.
I think it's scary because I feel like it is fast a lot of times. It's like, wait a minute, July already?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like July, I'm like, holy hell, it's July.
Yeah.
But you get so wrapped up in your day to day, the days just
And
bloody.
then, and of course, if you're like most of us, you're just fucking day in, day out working some dumb job.
yeah, I mean,
That
think
does
about
not
how much
help.
time.
If you had the money and freedom, you could just be doing dope shit.
Yeah,
If you're like on vacation, doing fun shit all the time, like if you took like a month vacation and you normally work, it's gonna go by fast. But say you're just always on vacation, you don't work a job, you got the money. If you're doing like dope
Days are
experiences all the time, it's like this month has been long. Like
that's how it felt when I was in LA.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
I was just roaming, putting in apps.
it's a long
With
month.
free time. I mean, that was a different kind of free time. I answered to no one. That's a weird feeling, man. Like, I wasn't a worker, I wasn't employed, and I'm like, well, I'm just out here. This is so weird. Like, I kind of went crazy. Like, what you realize is like a lot of humans crave that routine. Like, we do. Like, I have somewhere to be in the morning, you know, like that schedule.
And then if
you
you
know?
take it away from them, they're like lost.
They kind of lose some purpose and, you know, lose some direction. And I think that's why it's so important for people to like be fulfilled, you know, like it's kind of what we're talking about at that point is, you know, like I said, I don't think people realize how many hours they trade to their jobs.
It disgusts me.
It's insane when you really think about how many hours you give up to a business.
And like we said, that's the most valuable like asset you have is your time.
People are trading hours for 8 something an hour. That's what your hour's worth. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you gotta fuck shit. People gotta eat. You know, it's tough. But that's why I think I'm big on like I'm really trying to get to the drawing board and think about how to create more opportunities for me to be financially free. Because when you're financially free, it creates a different type of freedom. You know what I mean?
And as like a wealthy person, it's like a rule of thumb I've heard they say is like, you know, you gotta have like 7 income streams,
multiple streams of income,
passive income.
Multiple streams of income.
You can't be relying on one or even a few sometimes.
I remember I got into this book. I was, you know, the pyramid scheme crap that was presented to me, which that whatever, to each his own. But I thought some of the book I read was this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, right?
I've heard of that.
It's a really dope book.
Who wrote
man.
that? Do you know?
I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, I think I know.
But he's like a big time businessman, millionaire, maybe even billionaire. But long story short, he broke down the 4 types of income. And the 2 main ones that the real takeaway is the passive and damn, what is it? Oh my gosh, did I forget? Passive and damn, I'm blanking.
Maybe we could pull it up.
Maybe we can.
Look at Google the 4
I'm gonna
types
look it up
because
because I feel like this is some gem that someone needs to hear. And
you're gonna have to hear this, folks. Give us a moment.
This is a good one, man.
Yeah, the 4. Ah, fuck. 4 types of income.
This might be passive and active.
What is active? Like what we do
active
at our
is
job,
literally the
or?
normal 9 to 5 worker who goes to work. Yeah, that's what it is. Passive and active. It has to be. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Keep looking.
Yeah, it says earned or active income, passive income, and then just portfolio or investment income, and then inherited income.
And then there's like self-employed. It's like the S.
Okay.
But basically, passive income is the, or active income. Let's start with there. Active income is the traditional job and employee who goes to a business and trades their time for a paycheck. Then there's passive. Passive is the I run a business of some kind, or I sell something that makes money for me even in my absence.
While you're sleeping.
While you're sleeping. And the problem with active income is you can never get rich off of active income because if you're not there, you're not getting paid.
Exactly.
Your income stops. With passive, which is most wealthy people who have money that they will never have to worry about, they go to bed and they're still making money. And people don't understand. No one's trying to learn it. I don't think it's no one's that's trying to learn it, but most people don't have access to someone who's going to teach them how to make passive income.
Most people aren't told about this kind of shit.
No one's teaching us that shit in school. They're teaching you to be a worker.
Exactly. That's the whole, again, the whole problem with the education system.
They're teaching you to work for somebody else.
You gotta shape
And
yourself into this mold.
Yeah, you gotta fit this structure. You know, like I said, structure is important, but we also gotta show people there's alternative routes to make money, and that's what it comes down to. You know, like when you as an artist make songs and you put them on streaming platforms, that is a passive income for you because now whenever those songs are played, you're making money. How much? It depends on a lot of variables, but it's something that you don't have to think about that's making money back to you. Did you invest? Of course. You know, like that's what fucks people up is they don't want to invest in shit. Where they're like, oh, what do you mean I got to put $300 down for recording equipment?
Dude, you have to invest your money.
How much did you spend on this, if you don't mind me asking?
I couldn't even tell you because, well, for one, with all the different things we do, a lot of this shit has been accumulated over, you know, I'm like building an empire check by check here. You know,
for example, I mean, we both have MacBooks. That's at least a grand right there.
Dude, more, yeah.
Little over $1,000, depending on what.
So this was like a nice one when this came out, and it's like fucking like
so you're already talking
maybe
$1,000 just off that laptop you're utilizing for your brand. People don't even want to spend $20 on something that's for them, because if it's not instant gratification, if they can't see it in the moment, they don't want to do it. But they'll go fucking line up at the damn mall and get a new pair of fucking Jordans, no questions asked, and shell out $200 for some shit they don't even own to make some other dude millions. Man, look.
You got to invest your money.
You got to invest, man.
In smart ways or something.
Smart ways, yeah. Like if it's something that matters to you, put some fucking money up.
Yeah.
You're not, I promise, you're not that invaluable.
Right.
It's for you. It's got, that's a type of, you know, what I said, you can't even quantify the value of investing back to yourself. That's what it comes down to. And
yeah, dude, it's funny to think, like, when I think about it, it's like I'm poor as shit, but I could say, like, oh, I got like a decent net worth of all this gear I have, like, you know, not just this shit, but a bunch of other shit, other things, you know, just equipment for all different kind of multimedia shit.
You can't be scared to put money up for yourself, especially if you don't have anyone putting it down for you. Do your homework and then put the money in. You know, like, people don't like to, you know, I got a lot of friends who, you know, are aspiring creatives or want to get into it. And once I start telling them how much money I've spent on some of my projects, just buying beats, they're like, oh, hell no. Well, I don't know about all that. And it's like, hey, buddy, it comes with the territory. Like, you want to do this?
So you're not about it then.
You're not about it.
You're telling me.
And that's fine. Like, sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, I'm really not about this life. And it's like, cool. I'm just trying to give people information. Information, that's what I realized. The scarcity shit is out. That shit is whack.
Oh, yeah.
Give everyone the information, because the people that are going to use it are going to use it. And the ones that aren't, they aren't. You can weed people out real quick by saying, hey, I'll put you on to something. I'll spit you some game. One of my friends told me, he's like, bro, go to the, and my sister told me too. She's like, go donate. Go donate plasma. CSL plasma. For all you guys who haven't donated, you can go make $76 if you show them the voucher coupon. First time donors. Easy. Maybe take you 2.5 hours.
Back in the day, used to be even more money. I think they like dwindled it down.
Yeah, because people started catching on.
Yeah.
That's a nice little side hustle. I will be back before the week is up. That's for sure. I don't think you get as much as 70 because you're not, you know, when you're a return donor, but for some extra pocket change
if you're hard on strapped for cash and shit.
Like, and not even strapped for cash. There's people in there that you can tell have money who still donate. It's not a poor man's game. This is just about more money will never hurt you.
Right.
You know? Why do rich people get richer? It's not that they're not comfy. It's just, fuck it. Why not? Why not invest in some more stock or put my money into this company that I know is flourishing?
And rich people get richer. Unless, you know, they fall into some bad habits or something.
That's when you start talking generational wealth, where my children's children are going to have money well after I'm gone. It's crazy, man.
If I was rich, I would still want to, like, make my kids earn it. Like, I would, like, mentor them as much as I could.
We're talking about, like, not having asshole kids, right?
Yeah.
Where it's that balance where it's like, hey, I just want you to know, you know, look, you hit the jackpot. You just so happen to be born as my kid. You know, it's a randomized, you know, it's a sequence of numbers at that point. But you got to get it for yourself out here, you know? And it's like, that's part of why it's so important. And I had to learn the hard way, particularly for the young kids, especially for kids that don't necessarily come from a lot of money. You cannot compare yourself to these famous kids you see, because so many of them have a famous parent, or they had such and such as a connection. That is not a direct reflection of the normal circumstances, you know?
Even someone you think is, like, who has genuinely become famous, it's like you might find out, oh, their dad is so-and-so.
Someone that connects, man.
Something, you know.
It's a networking game. So much of who's on top or who's in the industry is a networking game. You know, meeting the right people, getting affiliated with the right kind of people at the right time, and boom, boom, boom. So it's like, oh, I'm not 16 and famous. I suck.
Right.
No, you don't. You really don't. You're actually doing great. It's not you know what I say? It's not a race, you know? Get there when you need to get there. If it means you don't pop till you're 25, you popped at 25. If you don't pop till 35, you popped at 35. People don't realize how many of the actors who are big now didn't. Okay, Chadwick Boseman, right? Do you know who that is?
Who is that?
Chadwick Boseman plays Black Panther.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, he's obviously been in some pretty high-profile projects, but Black Panther put him in a different stratosphere for fame. Dude is like in his early 40s.
You can be 50s, 60s sometimes.
You know, it just...
sometimes you get famous as, like, an old person. Like,
yeah, it happens.
Even as, like, for example, like, as an actor, because you fit that physical description, you know? Like,
because an actor, a lot of what happens with actors is, you know, it's do you serve the material? And sometimes you might be that perfect role as an old person because you're playing the old guy, you know? So it's just...
even something simple where you haven't done much, but you did one thing and got a bunch of money, like, say, like, the Dos Equis guy or some shit like that, you know?
just rake
He
in.
couldn't have done that when he was 20 because he was an old cool guy.
Yeah,
he has to
wasn't
be
the
this
guy.
old cool guy.
You know, yeah, there's a, you know, there's a gifting, or there's a aging is a gift. It can really be a gift. Not only just you're wiser, you have more to draw upon. You know, you I guess hopefully you value things a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like obviously there's the fantasy that's like, man, I wish I could just blow up or be super successful at a super young age. But then it's also like, you know what? I'm very grateful to be where I'm at because I have a lot of experiences to draw from. I'm glad that everything wasn't handed to me, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's a gift, too. Like,
I really am. You appreciate it, you know? And I don't know.
Like, if someone like us, if we got really rich, it's like we would appreciate it so much
more
than our fucking kids could
Dude,
ever
I give
imagine.
myself such bad anxiety about money.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, my bank account, I'm comfy right now. Like, I'm good. Like, it's not great. It's not like, oh, I quit my job or anything, but I have enough money that I can be grateful because I know there's a lot of people who would kill for my funds, but like, it's that thing of like, I still give myself anxiety because I'm like, dude, it could be more. It could be more. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm one bad accident, paycheck to paycheck households, right?
Yep.
Like, you know that one accident put someone out of work would fuck the whole household up. It's kind of that thing where I'm like, I still got to go to work tomorrow morning. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I had a lady come into my work today. It's like, oh, you working tomorrow? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm not. Yeah. I'd be pissed if I wasn't working tomorrow. I need this money.
July 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah, same deal.
I need this money.
Dude, time and a half, fuck it. I'm there.
Yeah,
Say less. Yeah, my job is at least they're hooking up with. I mean, the thing is with time and a half though, because I worked Memorial Day, they tax the shit out of that.
They do,
man.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I was so hype about time and a half, I barely saw any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's okay, but yeah, man, it's just, you know, I that's something I pray, man. If I do ever have kids, I just hope I can instill that in them and just be like, look, don't be an asshole, okay?
Yeah.
You know. Whether I'm rich or not, like, just don't be a dick.
Right.
Like, be a good person. It pays to be good. And I really believe, like, so many of the things that I've been rewarded with in my life is because you put a certain energy out and it comes back to you, you know? It really does. It really comes back to you in one way or the other, whether it's opportunities or friendships or, you know, favors, whatever. Like, just people remember.
That's true.
They really do.
Man, and if I had kids, one of the things is like, you know, I don't want to just like, you know, oh, you get a bunch of money now because you're my kid. Like if I was rich, you know, like I want to like be able to like mentor them and teach them like how they can like
contribute,
get their own fucking money, you know. So it's like they have something to be proud of, you know, and like they're not just like entitled or anything.
So
like,
I mean, it's just creating financial independence, really. And I mean, and it's also about like, you know, nurturing their interests and finding out like
exactly. It's like, what do you want to do? Oh, we can make some money doing that.
Yeah, like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, well, let's do some research on it and figure out how we can make it plausible or feasible, you know. And I'm very gracious. Like, I mean, I can only do what was done for me or try to do it better, you know. Like, I found my way and I found all these things that I'm really passionate about, and I feel like I have a better understanding of what I want to bring to the table.
And we're also lucky because of that. Some people like don't have hobbies.
Dude,
some people just don't
talk about it. This stuff like this stuff is like good for my soul, man. Yeah. It really is. Like it really like replenishes me in a way. Like I don't know what I would do if I just went to work and went home and didn't do shit. You know, I mean, you know what happens to those kind of people. They're usually angry and they go to drink and, you know, whatever. Like, that's their hobby, I suppose. But, man, I love that I have, like, creative outlets and stuff. You know, it's good for me.
Dude, like,
Keeps me out of trouble.
I'm so thankful that I'm kind of, like, insane and crazy. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm very mentally sound and happy, I guess. It's like, if I didn't have, like, you know, for one, my close group of friends, you know, and, like, and all these creative endeavors and projects, it's like I would be like nothing. I'd be so depressed.
Dude,
like, I couldn't imagine.
It's like, what do you want to do? And it's like, and then I think that was something too, is like, you realize that you really don't have to prove shit to anybody, man. You just got to do it. Just do it. Because it's so easy, like with everything being a numbers game, man, if I'm lucky enough to have a significant impact on one person, I did something cool, you know? Like, sometimes it's so easy, like, oh, well, what are the numbers or how many plays did it get? And it's just like, who cares? There's so many people, man. There's 7 billion of us running around.
You
like,
got to do it for your own enjoyment.
have
for
to
one.
do it.
Like I said,
Absolutely.
like how I would joke. Even now, I still like sometimes joke around. No one's listening to this podcast. They don't give a fuck. It's like because I'm doing it anyway because it was fun.
You enjoy it.
It was fun to do.
And sometimes that's all you need.
Because I started
That's good
listening to
enough.
podcasts when I was a bit younger, and I was like, over time, I was like, that would be really fun,
Because for every person that's popping, they had one point in time where they didn't have anybody listening,
And music, art, it's like
It's all the same
that's for
thing.
me. It's
is.
for me, people.
It's
right?
gotta, it's gotta feed me, like, and that's part of why I'm waiting, because it's like, I used to feel like I had to meet a demand, like I'm like, oh, I got to do this to keep people interested, and it's like, you know what, I'm surrendering all that. The people that want to listen to it are gonna listen to it, even if it takes another year to come out, And I feel like once I let things happen organically like that, and just let myself be fully and like lost in my creative endeavors and then let them grow, better stuff happens.
Right.
I believe, and it gives you time to refine. That's what I said. Think about it. You get better and better every time you do this. It feels more natural. It feels, like, so when someone's like, if someone hit you last minute like this, where it wasn't even something you planned on doing, what we're off, and it's just going. Where are we clocking in at right now?
Dude, we're at am I correct here? 2.5?
2.5 hours. And it flew. I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, damn, it flew, man.
And that's the other thing. This time just keeps fucking moving.
The time waits for no one.
God damn it.
Respect her.
But yeah, what do you think the future looks like for you, or what do you want it to look like as far as musically, creatively as a creator?
Man. I know it's gonna sound so corny. I just want to truthfully, I want to be happy. I want to be happy.
That's got to be everyone's number one goal.
I want to be happy.
It has to be.
And someone I really admire said that, and I was like, wow, like, oh, that's so corny. No, it's not. People are sad as fuck, bro. There's a lot of depressed ass people. You know what I mean? Like,
they don't. Yeah, they're missing
miserable
certain things. Like,
and I mean, when I'm talking, like, when I say happy, I don't mean like I'm like strolling down the street with a big ass cheesy grin. I mean like truly at peace wherever I'm at, and gratitude and show.
Wealthy in the important ways that we spoke about. Like,
not that money shit. That's nice too.
Shit.
I like some money.
That
but
helps a lot,
wealth,
especially in this country for certain reasons.
Rich.
Like, I need some healthcare.
Yeah, I want to be rich and rich internally. Not to get too hippie about it, but shit, I mean, I really feel that stuff. There's a reason my project was called Zen.
Yeah.
I had a tape called Zen. Like, I'm very much about that tranquil stuff, man. Well, long story short, that's really big for me. And I think something about alignment and chakras and all that other crap, like, that shit really works for me. I really connect with that. But yeah, like, I want to be happy. And along with that, I would love to keep manifesting these other artistic endeavors and be of service to people, because that's something I really find myself enjoying on a day-to-day. Something that I think that my job helps me recognize is I love making conversation, and I love meeting cool people, and I think that there's a way I can find a balance and utilize my art as a vehicle to not only go beyond the Quad Cities and see more of the world, because I definitely got the travel bug.
Oh yeah.
After LA, I mean, I don't know if I didn't bring it up until now, but we drove.
Yeah.
We drove to LA. Like, holy shit. I'll never do it again. It was 27 hours roughly, but it was amazing. We didn't stop for nothing. If I got tired, he'd sleep. If he got tired, I'd sleep. Oh my God, what am I talking about? If I got tired, he'd drive, and when he got tired, I drove.
Yeah.
So we just alternated. And I'm like, man, that was nuts, but it was so beautiful. Like, we got to see all of this geography. I mean, we drove through the mountains. We drove through Colorado. We drove through Idaho. We drove through Vegas. It was so dope. And it was like one of those experiences I'll never forget. I mean, I have photos like nobody's business from, start to finish. But it's like one of those things you just can't, you can't.
One of the things people say is like, oh, I love America. It's the greatest country in the world. And they're usually on some political or patriotic dumb shit sometimes. I love the government, whatever. But I would say I love America, and it's one of the best countries in the world because geographically.
Geography,
We got
dude.
everything.
We have such a diverse, man. Like
It's
one of those things. Like I
amazing.
said,
It's
like
so beautiful.
You kind of, you dismiss it. It's not really at the forefront of your mind. But if you really take a step back, like Utah, I don't know why the fuck else I'd be in Utah for any other reason, but it's a beautiful state. I mean, there's so much geography and there's so many
Utah,
mountains.
that's they got like Arches National Park there.
Oh
With,
yeah,
like the arches, the red rock formations. And
yeah,
shit,
man.
the
Like
arches and
there's
shit.
some
Like that's
crazy,
one of my favorite places, dude.
crazy
I love it.
like mountains out there, man. And the way it's like I said, the way that land has molded itself, because like it's funny because in like Iowa, Nebraska, which is just flat as shit, and then you start working your way to the more hilly parts of America, and Colorado is so beautiful. You know what I mean, with the mountains and the ice. You see all the ice caps and stuff. And then Vegas is like this kind of like red. You got all these red rocks, man, and just like it just
love
pops.
I love that.
And the
shit.
palms, and like that's when you're working towards the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And then L.A. and Cali is just this weird. It almost doesn't even make sense the way Cali's set up as a state when you're talking like you have mountains here, but you have the ocean there, but then you have desert there, and then if you work north, you get, you're talking like you're working towards the northern pole.
I think they say like up north, like Oregon, Washington, whatever. I think they have what is classified as like legit like rainforest.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like it rains a lot up there. And it's funny, I was actually born in Washington State.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in Washington State, Tacoma. I was born in Tacoma. I was a baby when I left, but my father used to live out there. That's how my mom met him. She called herself going out to Washington just to live life and, change it up. And he had a desire to leave, and she met my dad out there.
Right.
And then they had me.
Did you come here as a baby?
I did. I grew up in Clinton, actually.
Okay.
You know where Clinton is? Like about 30, 40 minutes away from Davenport. Yeah, that's where I grew up. And then around like 6th, 7th grade, we moved to Davenport, and I've been here since. I grew up here.
Hell yeah.
So in retrospect, it was like, I didn't want to leave Clinton. And I'm like, damn, my mom really did me a favor. I mean, it was a little too small. As a kid, it was cool, but I couldn't live there now. But,
right.
Man, yeah, it's crazy. And like traveling and doing more art, and honestly, like schooling has been something that I've been kind of really trying to navigate, because I feel like there's just something credential-wise I could get maybe at the school level that, I don't want to be a cynic about school, but that's part of the reason why I haven't gone, is just because I'm like, man, like, fucker's going to take all my money, and I got to take some of these classes I don't want to take.
Oh, dude, I totally feel the same way.
Yeah, it's hard, man. Like, especially when I hear some of my friends and how much debt they're in. I'm like,
so you can keep all that.
Yeah, like that part, I'm not fucking with it.
But I do like taking classes just for knowledge.
I do, yes.
know?
I think, and that's something too that people have to understand, that knowledge does not stop once you go beyond the classroom.
Oh, of course, you have to be learning your whole life,
here, man. Like, you can look up anything. There's so much knowledge at your fingertips, and through conversation or researching yourself. And there are some people who I think are excellent at really digesting information in a classroom setting, in an education system. And I think there's some people who don't work that well.
Yeah.
And they work better by having a little more hands-free and, being a little more hands-on, and it just kind of depends on what works for you. I'm the type of kid, at least in high school, where, man, if I'm into the subject, I'm so fully engrossed, and it's captivates me. When I'm not into it, I tune out. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, when can I go? Like, you know what I mean? Or just you want to be anywhere but there. I'm thinking about the stuff I want to do outside the classroom. That's like what's in my mind. So yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like college is an amazing thing. It can be an amazing thing, but it also can really scam you. And you have to go for the right reasons. And
it's needed for certain professions.
Yeah, exactly.
And
like
whatever.
Like you want to be a doctor, take your ass to school. Like
right.
You're not walking into any
engineer
hospital to be a doctor. So it just really just comes down to what your intentions are.
You walk into the operating room. Don't worry, I've watched 700 hours of YouTube operations.
Yeah. Like I got it. Like trust me.
Please,
DIY kind of thing. And it's that other thing of like, and on top of that too, the other part of it is just it's partly status. You know what I mean? It's
Of
part
course,
about the
yep.
credential.
Especially what school you went to.
Yeah, like what school and what degree? Because look, every degree ain't equal, you know. And there's some degrees he went to school for that versus he's that.
He went to what school?
He got a bachelor's or a master's in that said degree.
Oh, he got a scholarship to
to go so and so. It's a status thing, you know, and it's a credential thing. And I mean, I'll be honest, like when you start working and you start trying to navigate in some of these more dense areas like Chicago, New York, LA, man, that degree can make all the difference. Because I mean, hell, even in LA, everyone thinks it's just go get a waiting job. Hell no. Most of the waiting jobs are even super selective and picky because they have so many people that are applicants, you know. Some of the jobs we looked at were like, if you don't have a minimum of 2 years fine dining experience, we don't even want to talk to you. It's a prerequisite just to even get an interview. But that's what I say, it's getting competitive out here. So man, it's just all that much more important to spend time with yourself, identify who you are and what you want, and then go for it and go at it full speed, you know.
Fuck yeah. Keep educating yourself your whole life. Your whole life you should be learning all the time, you know?
All the time.
You never stop learning. You
never
shouldn't
stop.
ever.
Shouldn't.
And if you have,
Well,
what the fuck?
yeah, like that just creates ignorance.
Of course.
It just creates a lot of ignorant people.
And another good takeaway is always travel. You got to get out there. If you haven't traveled
Meet
much,
other
dude,
people,
you owe it to
interact
yourself.
with people that don't look like you and didn't grow up like you. It gives you so much perspective.
If everyone traveled, we wouldn't have racism.
I agree. We'd have. I don't know if we'd abolish it because some people are just straight up shitty.
Of course.
We'd minimize it. We have a lot more tolerance in the world. People start to understand how other people came up. I really want to go overseas, man. I don't know why. I really want to go to Tokyo.
Oh God,
I want to go to
talk about
Tokyo
a
so
culture
bad.
shock. Yeah,
Yeah, like I just want to go like somewhere in Japan.
I would love to travel the world. I mean, I used to travel
somewhere
a
in
shit ton,
England.
and I need to get back out there.
Got to, man. That's another thing that I'm really big on is like I've started to like really be a little more, I guess, kind to myself when it comes to spending money on experiences.
Yeah.
Like going to live shows and traveling. Like, how can you put man, when you're dead, all you have is your memories.
Like they say, your money will come back. Your time
money will come,
not.
and that's why I'm going on this trip. Because yes, I'm gonna have to sacrifice my that July paycheck. Whatever July paycheck I come back to won't be the greatest, but at the end of the day, you can't replace those experiences with people you love, you know, and that's family. And you know, look, people are getting older, you know, and it's just like I'm not getting any younger, and it's just like I know I'd be kicking myself if something happened to someone on that trip, you know, that was going on that trip afterwards, and I didn't go and share that time with them.
Of
you know,
course.
there will always be time for all this other shit. You know, there will never not be a shift to pick up at work. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know.
What was is LA the farthest away you've traveled?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because yeah, definitely.
Unless you count your travel as a baby from.
Yeah, I guess.
You know.
Oh well, I think the
As an
LA,
experience.
the LA travel was different for so many reasons. Not only just distance, but also it was one I
Right. It was
trekked
your own,
out. You know what I mean?
Your
like
own fucking
it was
decision.
my own. It
You
was
drove your ass.
uncharted territory. None of my immediate family has been to LA aside from my brother. So it was that thing.
They don't
like,
even know.
Yeah, like I've been somewhere no one else has gone, and I went on my own accord. I wasn't drugged on a vacation. I went with the intention to live there. Really, I wasn't trying to come back. Well, not because I hate this area, but I was like, fuck it, like let's create life out there and see if I can do it. And you know, and there's a few friends who actually want to go back out that way. So you never know.
Right.
I just want to be open to anything. You know, I don't want to be so, I guess, narrow-minded that I'm not willing to invite new experiences in my life. And that was the furthest I'd definitely gone west, you know, to the West Coast. Now I want to go east. I've never been to New York City. So if I can go LA and New York, I can check both those off my bucket list, man. I really want to go to New York City. And actually one of my good friends from high school, her name's Kayla. She actually lives out there.
Ooh.
She's from the Bronx.
There you go. They can get maybe a
she's been
place to stay.
Yeah, she's been wanting me to come out and visit her, and I think that might be a trip I have to plan for 2020. I think that'll give me enough time to really get my money right.
Right.
I gotta go. I want to see it so bad. Maybe make like a 12-day trip or something and just go out there and hit the ground running. Like go.
Do it, son.
Yeah. Like there's no reason not to. And that's why I think LA reminded me is like this is so feasible. Like I did it. You know what I mean? Like I came, I saw, I conquered. Like,
Right.
you know, like sometimes you can really overthink it, and it's just like, just go. You know,
got to do it.
Just get in the car. I mean, yeah, obviously you have to organize and plan, but once that's all done, go. Give yourself that. You know, can't go wrong.
Hell yeah.
So that's dope, man. Like, hell yeah. Like, that's what I say. Be happy, do more, get more involved from a community standpoint, and do more of my endeavors, you know, launch more things and put out some more of this music and stuff, you know?
Hell yeah. Well, thank you again for being here, man.
Thank you, man.
Do we miss anything?
Seriously.
I think we...
Shit. I mean, we can go, but
we covered
like,
a lot. This is going to be the 6-hour podcast.
Yeah.
We could do it. Yeah, like we said, it's a time warp.
Yeah,
it ain't no thing.
It's dope, man. Thank you
Tell them
so
how to
much.
get a hold of your shit.
Well, my name is Ahzia, Ahzia, and you can find me on Twitter at Ahzia Hester, and like my name is like Zenzaya, but the @ is Ahzia Hester, and then my SoundCloud is Ahzia. It's just my first name, so Ahzia, and you can also get me on Instagram at Ahzia Hester as well. Those are probably the main 2 social medias that, you know, you could probably catch me on.
Yeah.
Or like get access to the music and stuff, you know, and follow me. And I'm always down to make conversation, so I always appreciate it.
Yeah, hell yes. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you so much.
Hit it up,
man.
motherfuckers. Get at 'em.
Appreciate it.
Hell yes. We'll do this again someday.
Hell yeah.
Until next time, peace out.
Peace.